And we are live. All right, we're live. What's up? What's up, Kamui?
Okay.
So you have a thing to show me. It's a new Boruto Chapter 18. Spoiler, what? Whoa!
Yeah, right on time. Okay. So
Almost like it's in the
I'm gonna
title.
post this first one in chat. Now, like I said, I mean, we can look at the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. What I really need you to do. Oh wait, actually, I was supposed to share my screen. 1 second. Do that. What I really need you to do is focus on one panel in particular, which I will zoom in on.
Okay, well, I'm not going to look until you do.
Okay, you can look.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can figure out why I'm saying this is extra special for us.
Because it's Chan? Konohamaru-chan? Can I call you Konohamaru-chan? I mean, there's only two things. It's Matsuri blushing, Konohamaru doing the side eye look back pose.
It's this panel.
So,
yeah.
But so Konohamaru's wearing the Uzumaki jacket, by the way.
It's on the back of everyone's jacket.
Well, that's besides the point.
So yes, you're correct. This is the correct observation. Okay. Now, can you elaborate on why this is funny?
Well, because
also Matsuri's butt cheeks.
Oh my god, bro! I wasn't even looking at that.
I just happened to look.
Closed my eyes when you moved your mouse to like highlight. I wasn't supposed to look. Anyways, yeah, because Chan is the humorous honorific for a. What do you want from me? Like, what ongoing, running, going meme of Konohamaru with Chan do we currently have going? Of which you are referencing.
Well, okay, here. Let's start with this. Kun versus Chan in Japanese. Just for readers. In Japanese, Kun is used to address men, while Chan is used to address girls, young women, and close friends. Generally, you would use Chan for girls. Konohamaru is obviously a male, so that's the first thing. Now, why is this extra funny? Well, if you remember in the Soegi chapter, there's any line where it happens. Yes. Remember how I purposefully did it backwards? The Konohamaru called Moegi-kun. Well, here we have basically Moegi calling Konohamaru-chan.
I see. Okay.
Which I thought was just extra wild because, like, bro, it's like I manifested this into the manga.
Wow. we definitely know who's wearing the pants in this family.
Yeah, it's not Matsuri. Anyway, that was that. I don't even think I care about the rest of this. Anyway, that's my intro. Thoughts?
All right. Well, I like how you're asking for thoughts after we've already given them. By the way, what's up, Sage? If you want to join, just raise your hand if you want. If not, it's fine. Anyways, so yeah, Boruto.
I'm going back upstairs, so it's your turn to pick it up.
I will share my screen. Of which case you won't be able to see if you are upstairs.
That's okay.
That works anyways.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So, last time on Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we had Chapter 17 last month, of which we've only talked about once and have only covered a third of the chapter with our initial thoughts, and considering we didn't even react to this chapter, even though it was our biggest mistake of our entire career and lifetime to not react to it. So, what I will say...
For the record, I personally don't think it's my biggest mistake in my entire life, but...
well, I said entire career, referencing the YouTube career, specifically the Walky Talky career. The biggest mistake on this channel, just to niche down, okay? So the wild beast cubs. So just as a recap, I might as well play Ikimoto here. The last things we talked about last time, we talked about the main cover. We talked about Sarada's love thing and the fact that the toad was small, and Mitsuki giving Sarada the side eye. Then we also talked about your girl Yodo's hearing. Is it Yodo or is that the guy? I forget. The girl is
Yodo's
Yodo.
the girl.
Okay, Araya's the guy. Yeah. We talked about Yodo's hearing. The fact that was a cool callback reference, proof that he is watching the anime for some parts, anyways. We talked about the trees, the like 6 or 7 different interpretations of the trees, and I think that might be all we talked about before we jumped all the way down to Shikamaru talking to Konohamaru, wherever that. Oh, it says all over the place in the middle. Then we jumped all the way down to Kawaki confronting Amado at the very end, and how they might adapt this with tea as opposed to cigarettes in the anime.
That could be funnier because okay, let's go with the hypothetical that Amado's drinking coffee in this scene.
Yeah.
How do you think it will go? Do you think Kawaki will? What are 3 options?
Mm-hmm.
1, just take it out of his, put it down. 2, he'll take it, throw it on the wall or somewhere, just like throw the cup. Or 3, he will specifically, well, I'll say 4. 3, he will just gently spill it on Amado, or 4, he throws it at Amado.
So 2 is the most absurdly ridiculous, which is why I kind of want it to be a thing. But I'm gonna propose a 5th option, which is like a mesh between 2 of the other options, of which I don't remember the exact numerical numberings of which. I think he will take it out of his hand, not pour it on him, but pour the cup out beside him, like right by his feet or whatever.
Okay, yeah, instead of throwing it at the wall, he just pours it out.
Yeah.
That could be pretty funny too, actually.
What some things they could do as like a 6th and 7th potential option is just have him using a straw, like a sippy cup, and in this case, you just forget about the cup. Like it's just the exact same thing. You just replace the cigarette, the cylindrical object, with a straw. The cylindrical object, and it's the exact same. Well, that's boring. So the 7th option is this is going to be a mug. Okay, it's going to be a mug which has like the holder thing on the side. You know how a cup looks with the holder thing?
Yeah, it's got Akabi on the side of it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a cup, okay?
Just shatters it.
So here you got the cup, and you got a little holding thing on the side. I don't remember what this is called, but you got it. So I was thinking, what if Abado's holding the cup, and Kawaki rips off the holding part of the cup?
The handle. I think my favorite options are probably, I'll give a top 3. The 3rd place is probably just like he just hits it out of Amado's hand and it spills on Amado. It's like, hey, my shirt. 2nd would be the top 2 is pretty. We're just gonna call it a tie.
Okay.
One of them would be the one where he takes the cup out of his hand, just pours it out next to him.
I mean, I have a potential 8th or 9th option. So potential 8th or 9th option. So the 8th option is he doesn't actually touch the cup. Rather, he intercepts the cup when Amado goes for a drink by quickly blitzing him by placing his head in front of Amado's head to sip the coffee instead of Amado.
Okay, a couple more that he could do. He could just like grab Amado's hand before he touches the cup. He could just swipe the cup before Amado grabs it, and he could drink it instead.
Yeah, so that's how I got to that interpretation as well. Yeah,
or a better, okay, a couple funnier.
Yeah,
would take his head front, drink, or uses a straw. And before Amado gets to sit in.
You were cutting out a little bit there, but I got half of that. Okay, I think the most absurd, I'm not even going to say this is most comical, but the most absurd would be Kawaki uses a scientific ninja tech to create a chakra blast to blow up the cup.
Okay, I got a couple other ones to know. He uses this ninja tech to make a really long arm that grabs the cup from across the room.
Or he's not freaking Venom, like freaking Elastic Man, freaking Patrick when he's has the superpower in SpongeBob now.
He can make a long arm though.
Fair, I guess. It's not really an arm, but I see what you mean.
Yeah. I definitely think I see the problem is they already blew it with the Shikamaru Obito rooftop scene to the point that I don't know if they'll do it or not. But, like I think that's my biggest gripe. This is ridiculous to say. I think my biggest complaint about the anime adaptation of the Code Arc is that they didn't take the opportunity for the coffee rooftop scene where Shikamaru tells Amado no coffee, and then Shikamaru pulls out a cup of coffee. Would have been the funniest use of their censorship, and they blew it.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree?
I mean, they'll probably do the most boring option, whichever that may be. But that's what I'm worried about. It seems to be their track record when it comes to the censorship.
I agree. But is that your biggest gripe with the Code Arc too? Of the anime?
I mean, what censorship was in the Code Arc of the anime that you're thinking of? The rooftop scene?
You hear what I just said?
Well, okay, but then you can't just go from a specific scene to the Code Arc. That's not how it works.
Well, I don't know if I cut out. I said that was my biggest gripe of the Code Arc in the anime, is that they didn't do what I just said.
Okay.
And I'm asking if you agree or disagree.
Okay, well, Kamui, no, I don't think that works like that, because if I went up to you and was like, hey, in the War Arc, they censored Obito, and you're like, oh yeah, that was crazy, and then like a minute later, I was like, man, Kamui, what do you think of the censorship in the War Arc?
That's not the question. Okay.
That's essentially what you did.
Right, yes. Oh, I said my biggest about the anime adaptation of the Code Arc is that they didn't take the opportunity to, instead of the cigarette thing, do the coffee censorship thing that I described, which is where be on the rooftop before Shikamaru pulls coffee, just like the coffee instead. Biggest complaint would have been the funniest ever. Worth it. It didn't do. That's my biggest complaint.
I don't know why you reiterated that as if it wasn't recap in the first place, as if I don't know what scene you're talking about. That didn't add any clarification at all.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So my question was, do you agree or disagree? Is that your biggest complaint about the anime adaptation of the Code Arc, or no?
See, Kamui, I already understood the question.
Okay, then your comparison makes no sense. I don't understand how there's confusion about this. It's just a yes or no. If you had to pick your biggest complaint about the anime adaptation of the Arc, would it be that, or would it be something else?
Well, the problem is you didn't give anything else to compare it to, and you didn't watch the arc.
That's fine. I know it doesn't matter if I watch the arc. That's just gonna be my biggest complaint. But regardless,
when you say that, like, it's like an absolute. Okay, if Sage of Thick Cabs is in the audience, he'll tell you the debate tactic of which. Oh, he's not here. Okay, you got lucky this time, cowboy.
It's just because it's personal to me. I just know nothing could top it. But
yeah.
I mean, I'll give you, I guess, something to compare with, but you shouldn't need it. You've seen the arc. You would know what complaints you may or may not have, and you would just say if those other complaints are greater or lesser than what I said. But since you apparently need a comparison, can't figure out one on your own, apparently, I'll give you one that's objectively worse, but subjectively not as bad. Well, debatably. And it's the fact that the anime finished the current arc incomplete. Very reasonable choice for you to pick as being a bigger complaint. However, I would be willing to forgive that if they just did the coffee scene, because that is peak meme material. And if there's one thing the Boruto franchise has done that's good, it's memes. So there you have it.
So whereas I understand what you're saying, I feel like you're just changing the topic when the topic itself was already baked into, embedded within the topic, assumed to be about censorship in particular, of which the second half of the code arc was not censored out of the anime. So that doesn't work.
No, my topic, just because my topic isn't about censorship. Like, I have a censorship scene in a way that I'm describing how they could have done it in a funny way. Yes. I'm saying the biggest missed opportunity is that they didn't do this. The censorship isn't really that important, other than the fact that
biggest missed
my scene it just so happens to have a censorship.
This in the
it's
first
not
place.
About, like, you could pick, like I said, the code arc being incomplete could be your biggest complaint, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to pick a censorship related thing.
But we got to this from the similarity of the previous conversation, that being chapter 17, the coffee cigarette censorship idea of Kawaki and Amato.
Yeah, and all I said was my biggest complaint about I didn't say my biggest censorship, I just said my biggest complaint in general about the code arc in the anime is that they didn't do this funny coffee thing that I think they should have done. And then I asked if you agree or disagree. It's your fault for being confused.
Well, we'll let chat decide that instead of you.
Sure.
My way or the highway. Okay, we can move on. I like the code arc personally. But anyway.
I never said I disliked the code arc.
You didn't see the code arc. Right, we can move on.
I've seen enough.
Making sure there's no advertisements on this that shouldn't be there. Anymore, I should say. Okay, I think I closed them all out. Okay. And we're good. Nobody saw a thing, I promise. Besides the few that probably did. Anyways. Probably good. Hopefully. I will find out if the stream goes down, but we should be good.
Well, it's on there. I wasn't looking.
There may or may not have been certain advertisements of which you've probably seen that you know what I'm talking about.
Would they strike Mellow's fancy? Why is that?
Oh, how'd you know? That's awful. I was scrolling quickly.
One of these times, you're just gonna stroll in when we say something. What do we even say? Oh yeah, you know, just to play it off.
Somehow, yeah.
All right, anyway.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the other Mellow.
Yeah, Mellow Yellow.
Yeah, I have a drink of it right here.
It has the same ad.
Yeah, we're talking about the Mellow Yellow ad. That's hilarious. I love it. Yeah, but I was scrolling quick enough to where I don't even think it was on screen for like a frame to where it was like still. So I'm assuming it's good. Anyways.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay, well, I don't remember where we were or what we have to say on this chapter. This is why we should have done this a freaking month ago in this game. We did talk about Yodo and Araya bickering and Yodo potentially being in love and how that could play into this arc with Sarada. I wonder if Araya is going to do anything about this. Like, if he's going to point out the fact that, hey, actually, she lied. We don't bicker all the time. Or if he's just going to go along with it. Or if he's noticing she's being extra, whereas she's not like this usually.
Well, you mentioned how, the possibility, anyway, of it almost being a subversion of expectations to where we're expecting Yodo to be the one who
right, yeah,
barges in out of emotion when Araya ends up being the one to actually do it. I do think one of the two are gonna fuck up the Ryu thing, at the very least, regardless of who it is.
It's not just a subversion of expectations, because it is like the explosion from the quiet person, which is the unexpected one. Well, that's a subversion of expectations. But it's like the inconsistency of it. They're able to become more extreme because of that idea, whereas Yodo is like consistently the whole time being like this. So like she's constantly blowing off steam, whereas like Raya would be like pinting up, building it up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to come out all at once. Just as a possibility. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, as Jonathan Oliver would say, it's easy. The easy answer is Yodo, and it's the predictable answer, and it probably is the answer. Yodo is going to screw up in one way or another. But it would be interesting if they had Araya do it instead.
Yeah. I wonder if Mitsuki, considering it was the Year of the Snake, if he's going to do something crazy on this mission. But
I mean, he might go crazy, but let's be honest. Mitsuki is the only person fit for this mission. I'm just going to be honest. Mitsuki is the only person who can actually just do this mission. Konohamaru is going to fucking fall in love with Matsuri over here. Yodo and Araya, one of them's going to overreact to Ryu and be like, they're going to rush in too early. Sarada's kind of like Konohamaru to where I think her heart's... I mean, she might be able to do it, but she could be swayed to be too friendly or whatever. Mitsuki's just on board, man. Like, he doesn't care.
And then I also remember not complaining, but like arguing the goofiness. Not arguing because you agreed with me. The goofiness of them just like going like hyping up this plan of, oh man, we don't you start now. We've come too far not to proceed. Oh man, let's not be caught because, oh man, pretty soon Matsuri is gonna catch on to us that we're watching. And then she's looking like, oh yeah, oh man, I see him, oh man. But guys, don't be caught yet. Oh, we got the plan. Everyone remember the plan? Mitsuki, I remember the plan. And then they just come right out and like, hey guys, we're over here. Blah, blah, blah. And I remember comparing it to Hunter x Hunter, the Phantom Troop with Killua, and the fact that he was caught because they were seeing him.
I mean, the plan hyping up aside, the main thing is scroll back up to wherever they mention. They're talking about how Matsuri is a sensory type and all that jazz, and they want to be noticed. And why does it matter if they're noticed?
Yeah, exactly.
You're just gonna approach them anyway. I mean, I guess the idea is to approach them, like you want to approach them first, so it's not like you're approaching because you were noticed. It's the other way around, and I get that. But like, you were just out of her distance. It doesn't seem like it mattered. I don't know. Why is this a factor? Why did you care?
This line doesn't even make sense in retrospect. Sorry, we're always like this. It won't affect the mission. You would assume it's because it's a stealth mission, and she's saying that they're not going to get caught despite them bickering. How does she know them bickering in front of Ryu isn't going to make Ryu not hate them? Like, isn't the point to be friendly and they're just going to be arguing amongst themselves? What do you mean it's not going to affect the mission? Like, she's saying it so confidently, she's so sure of herself. Oh, Ryu's going to react.
That is interesting, yeah.
The opposite.
Yep. Makes Ryu hate them.
It's like, yeah. If anything, Jura just said that the Leaf Shinobi are cool. I don't know why the Sand Shinobi are even here. Jura didn't say anything about them.
Yeah, like what if Ryu hates us? Like Jurek didn't hype you guys up. Boss man only said to leave. Cool.
It's unironically
again, though,
something
Yodo
and
Araya are just hanging back, and the Leaf are doing all the talking. So,
well, no, because remember at the like 2/3 way point of the chapter, Mitsuki's like, "Hey, Ryu, come over here to meet our other comrades." It's like,
no, I thought he was just like, "Come over here. I found some metal on the ground or whatever."
No, he definitely does mention his other comrades right over the hill or whatever he says. I don't know exactly where it is. Watch me not be able to find it, even though it is here.
Okay. Scroll up.
It's definitely not gonna be down.
I don't think it's. Yeah, it's gonna be in the Mitsuki Sarada scene somewhere. Yeah. That's what you were saying.
You gonna? God, I can't, bro. Yeah, okay, right here.
Okay, yeah.
Our other comrades are waiting near there. Let's go to them. I'll introduce you. So the point is like to separate them, but again, he's bringing them to the bickering sand shinobi. So, to be fair, he hasn't met them yet, so this is still a possibility. I actually do want this from the story. If I'm going to give predictions, it's going to be this just because I want it now.
Do you want Ryu to hate them because they're arguing?
Yeah, and because they're sand shinobi. I think that'd be hilarious.
And they're not Leaf.
Exactly. Yes. Like him pointing that out as the warning, as he has like a sand spear pointed at Yodo's head as she's on the ground. Like, that'd be freaking cool.
That would be funny.
And then Yodo's like all flustered, like, but I thought this wouldn't affect the mission.
Shinki would never get mad. Maybe Shinki actually gets really mad at them for it, and that's gonna be like the Ryu's like inner Shinki getting pissed off for their arguing. It's like, stop arguing.
That's the reason Araya explodes. Yodo, this is exactly what Shinki would do.
That would be funny.
Anyways, I do think it's really, really interesting how Mitsuki points out, before the mission begins, in retrospect, context of what the mission actually is, scrolling up to where Mitsuki, my god, there's so many pages. Okay, I think it was around down here. Yeah. So, okay, so just to be safe, I'll ask again, do all of you understand the plan? Again, we think at the time of the first reading this is like the stealth plan. Yes, sir, though I wonder if it'll really work in terms of like taking them out stealthily or whatever. That's not the plan. We know the plan is to separate them and get on their good side and then betray them. Mitsuki's questioning that plan. Questioning whether or not they can befriend them and then stab them in the back. That, I think, it's interesting how Mitsuki, of all characters, is the only one to question if it'll actually work. I like
especially
that.
When Mitsuki's the only one of the group who could actually do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like it. I wonder why Mitsuki's questioning if it'll actually work. Because again, this is right after the bickering as well. Is he referring to one thing in particular? Is he referring to the bickering? Is he referring to Sarada, the reason he's giving Sarada the side eye? Is he referring to wondering if Konohamaru will be able to do it or not? You know, his sensei who he knows, considering that's a sensei of multiple years of which he's gone to multiple missions with and knows the personality of? Is he saying it because of the Shinju's power level, or a mixture of all, or something else?
I mean, the side answer is it could be a mix of all the following. It could be a mix of, will the Shinju even befriend us? It could be, will the Shinju drop their guard at all? Can the rest of our team here do this, especially given the way Yodo and Araya and Sarada are all acting weird right now? Like, am I just gonna have to carry everyone? There's probably a mix of the factors, realistically. I don't know. I don't think it is in reference to any one specific thing. I think it's kind of all of it bundled together.
Like, I'll be honest, this plan makes no sense. If I'm allowed to just rant for a second, it's cool for the story, the narrative, or whatever. They just come out, subverting expectations like that. I like it for this chapter. In universe, I don't understand why they would give up their advantage of stealth by revealing themselves instead of waiting until Matsuri realize that they're there and then doing exactly this. It's just as risky, but in that case, you're having your advantage that you're utilizing. Get the intel. It's not like it's a time-sensitive thing. You can reveal yourselves right before they get to Shinki if that's what you want to wait for, the last possible moment. But why now? Considering they were waiting earlier in the first place, Yodo is using her sensory abilities. Why do that if at all in this case?
What I will, I mean, there's the two things I'll address, I guess. The first is something I said earlier. There is an important thing, I think. I think they want to reveal themselves before they're found.
Yeah.
Because the former makes it seem like you are genuinely approaching them friendly. The other one's like a, you got caught, now you're acting type of thing. That's the first. So with that in mind, they're going to want to do that approach. It would just be a matter of staying a long distance for a longer period of time before approaching, which is what you'd be getting to. So then it's a matter of their goal might just be befriend them as soon as possible, just so they have more time to befriend them and to figure out everything they're doing, versus if they wait, I guess while they'll understand what they're doing, they'll have less time to befriend them potentially before whatever situation they're in and so on. That would be my best guess there.
See,
but
the
first half is the important.
Both of those perspectives. 2 Blue Vortex ruins both of them by having them wait for Yodo to do her sensory gathering thing to gather intel on them first. Yeah. In the first place, yeah. Yeah. And honestly, if they reveal themselves at the exact moment they're found out, I think it would just go exactly how it went in universe. I mean, maybe that is how it went in universe, and we just don't even know. Like, that's how I thought it was.
Well, yeah, because they have freaking Matsuri doing this, so
exactly before they come out. Yeah, like if she's chronologically, if she's doing this before they come out, this works this way. Do it the exact moment. That's why Matsuri would think she's sensing them at that exact moment.
And then, given the way that they were acting after, and now granted, Matsuri is pretty obviously... Matsuri is reacting the same way no matter what when she sees Konohamaru. Yeah. Like, I don't think, no matter how sus they're being, that's just Matsuri at this point. Ryu's the kind of the wild card. Part of it depends on what exactly is his mindset right now. What is his mindset going to be next chapter, and so on. I think Matsuri they're safe with no matter what they do, though.
and just to address the haters in the comments, yes, Shikamaru, assuming he's just randomly trusting fully and believing in Kashin Koji and just knowing his ability is true and Koji's telling the truth and all that, then he should know, at least there's a possibility that this goes correctly, assuming it isn't guaranteed, which I don't think it should be. But Konohamaru wasn't told that, nor was anyone else on this mission, including decapitated Sarada.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned it. I almost interrupted you. I stopped to let you finish in case, I didn't want to mess up your thing. Yeah. I was going to point out Sarada looks weird in this panel.
Looks like she tried to behead Damon or something.
I don't know, I was like, she's just walking really weird. I don't know what's going on here. She got her head cocked all the way to the side, her shoulders sticking out the other way. Like,
but you do agree with me, though, that from Shikamaru's perspective, maybe it's a whatever thing, which even that, it's like, come on, really? But from their perspective, which they don't know about that, they just have no idea about that. So it's just completely randomly risky for no reason. They have no reason to assume this would work, especially after the Shinju invaded their village for no reason.
They're just going off Shikamaru's orders. And...
Yeah, like, Konohamaru directly confronted Hidari. Why are you attacking our village? What business do you have with us? Like, he expects that going forwards with all Shinju communication. Like, why does he think this is gonna work?
Honestly, that's a good point. Like, Konohamaru should have pushed back more, rather than just being like, oh, I don't like this idea or whatever. He should have been like, is that gonna work, Shikamaru? Because that Shinju Hidari, I talked to him, and bro did not answer a single one of my questions. It was only hostile towards me.
He's
not mentioning this here.
Yeah, like, literally, keep in mind, Shikamaru tells Konohamaru all about the Thorn Soul bulbs and the Shinju and their targets, and that Matsuri's target is you, Konohamaru, because she loves you, blah, blah, blah. What does Konohamaru see Hidari do to Sarada on sight? Like,
Chidori.
Like, why does he think Matsuri isn't going to immediately try and devour him? That's what he should expect. He's like,
Hidari, like, I understand Hidari's kind of like the dumb guy.
But Konohamaru doesn't know that.
Exactly. You know, just from his perspective, it's just like Hidari was not there to talk. He was there to. Hidari wanted to ask questions, but he was not there to answer theirs.
If anything, considering he knows Hidari has some connection to Sasuke, Konohamaru should think what the audience thought originally, that Hidari should be the smartest Shinju.
Yeah. So based off what he saw, like, it's not looking good for the others.
To be fair, he's being proven right with Ryu right now. So. But we did talk about this a little bit last time. I also think it is just ridiculous for him to. There's just no reason for Shikamaru to do this. He's like, all right, Konohamaru, I'm assigning you to this assassination mission. Go kill these people. But caveat, these people aren't evil. I just want to mention that these are innocent people. They're naive. They're like newborn cubs. I just want you to know that as you're killing them. These targets of assassination that you need to know nothing about. Just know, Konohamaru, that they're actually very innocent and haven't done anything wrong yet. Just know that as I'm assigning you to go assassin them, which I have no reason to do.
You know, actually, no, you're right, because instead what they could have done is have Shikamaru purposefully leave that out because he's being smart about this. He's like, I want them to think they're heartless so that they have an easier time doing this. But what Konohamaru and everyone else would realize while befriending this, Konohamaru himself would come to the realization, like, this girl is an innocent newborn cub. Like, he would just... Konohamaru should have come to this realization. And then after the mission fails and all that, Shikamaru could have been like, I didn't tell you for this reason. Like, you know, I wanted you to succeed, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, all that jazz. And that would have been better. You're right.
In fact, I do think it would have been better. You know why? Because it's like you said. I was going to say nothing at all. I think Shikamaru should have said what you were saying, lying to them and being like, they attacked our village. They're heartless bastards. They need to die. They are a threat to the shinobi world. They're evil Tin Tails monsters, blah, blah, blah. You can't convince them. You can't bargain. You can't barter. You can't do any of the other 7 deadly sins. Those aren't 7 deadly sins, but you get the point. There's no compromise with them, okay? They're succubuses. They might try and draw you in, blah, 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 but don't fall for it, Konohamaru.
Or no, he could have even lied and said, like, they're the type of people who would pretend to be your friend so they can backstab you. Almost.
Exactly, which is why I want Shikamaru to end this conversation by saying, Konohamaru, no matter what they do or say, I need you to trust me.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
that's something to think
you could argue, I will say, you could argue from Shikamaru's perspective, this is the smarter approach because he's prepping Konohamaru in advance. Like, hey, like, you're going to feel this way. I'm just telling you now so it doesn't catch you off guard. This is still your mission. And you can argue that's a better way for Shikamaru to approach it. But for the story, I think it would probably be better if Shikamaru was lying. It also helps with the fact that Konohamaru is already sussing out Shikamaru for his weirdness. This would just be another one of those things for him to be questioning. You know, why is bro lying to me about this shit? What else is he lying to me about? You know what I mean? And obviously having Konohamaru himself come to the realization that, you know, these are kind of like innocent cubs. Exactly. Would have been really cool.
Plus, I'm getting the impression that this isn't supposed to be like a 3-month-long mission where you genuinely become friends with the Shinju before stabbing in the back. It's to essentially announce your presence in a non-hostile way so that they don't immediately see you as hostiles, so that you can get close enough and even separate them to where you can immediately take them out one-on-one.
Yeah, like they ain't doing this Kabuto level shit where they're gonna frickin' take the tuning exams and be your buddy for the whole exam, and then backstab you the next arc. Like,
like
not
the
even
second
close.
Ryu goes over the hill, I don't see why Yoto and Araya aren't immediately attacking him.
Yeah, I honestly speaking, like, I don't think it's gonna last too many chapters before they try to backstab him. Like, for all I know, it's gonna happen in chapter 18.
Literally.
The cliffhanger.
It should. It would make
might be
the
chapter
most
19,
sense.
might be 20, whatever. But like, because the thing is, with Ikimoto, how long is he really gonna drag out Matsuri blushing, talking to Konohamaru? Like, really? How many chapters is he really gonna drag it out for? Is he really gonna do like 5 chapters of that? Probably not.
Like, if anything, that should
Bro
also be
can't
something
make a fight
Shikamaru
last
says.
longer than half a chapter. You think he's gonna have him have this conversation last 3 chapters? I doubt it.
Yeah. Like if he's not gonna say that they're heartless monsters and lie to them, if he's gonna tell the truth like this, he should at least say, "Oh, don't let your heart be affected. You need to kill them immediately before you become friends with them or hesitate or whatever." Blah blah blah. Like, kill them as soon as possible, as quickly as you can. The first chance you get.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that, so...
Ever, but
Denki
like...
does exist in the manga's canon, by the way.
There's some promotional bullshit that doesn't exist. Like...
No,
it's not...
it's weird, because they mention his name in chapter 42.
They do that.
It's
what?
really yeah, they do. I guess I'll just.
You mean in the manga or some promotional thing outside of the manga?
It's not a promotional thing outside of the manga. It is in the volume.
Yeah.
They mention Denki's name.
Wait,
Let me just go to it.
Okay, yeah, it's not in the chapter, but
it's in the volume. And they mention that he is a shinobi that isn't particularly that great at ninjutsu.
Yeah.
But
or genjutsu or taijutsu.
Yes, but he's good at scientific ninja attack.
I mean, I will say that is a well-timed place to mention it, given the Boruto fight. But like,
so go to the importance of shinobi experts and ninja tools grown greater. So go to that part, the importance of shinobi. It's in the second paragraph.
bro, why can't Kodachi still be writing so at least we could get this shit? They don't do this. Do they do this in the Two Blue Vortex volumes? Anything
so
like this?
the importance of shinobi, second paragraph.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry. Second passage in the first paragraph.
Okay.
So the importance of shinobi.
Am I on the wrong page?
No,
I
you're...
found it.
There you go. So, and this is before... Canonically, they say that he can't use ninjutsu, but technically, this is before he gets his jutsu in the anime, so the anime was correct on when they gave Denki ninjutsu. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? They gave it to him after the statement existed within the story. But no, he does exist. They act like he exists.
I like how they describe him as Boruto's contemporary. Bro got the Hinata treatment.
Contemporary.
At least they said his name.
Not even
so I was
ninja,
I was so curious because I went to go check other parts because like there's so many like Boruto databases in the when Kodachi was back writing. I wanted to see if I can find Iwabe's name. No, it's just Denki.
Yeah,
but if Denki exists, Iwabe probably exists too. They're just not shown.
Well, he existed when Kodachi was writing. Yeah. I don't think he exists anymore.
Although I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is weird because like the original designs were given to the anime by Ikimoto. Nishio just ended up redrawing them for the staff and whatnot. But it's It's annoying. But yeah.
Place. It's like the thing I said with Hanabi versus Inojin. It just is better by default to have
Kamui, this is
Hanabi in Inojin's place.
even worse. They do it yet again for the Uchiha.
Wait, what do you mean Hanabi and Inojin?
Oh, just have Hanabi be the one trying to protect Himawari and getting stabbed by Jura instead of fucking Inojin.
Oh, so have her like join the mission with them?
Bro, I don't even care how you get there. It just is. If you're not gonna make Inojin spawn with Himawari impactful, then put Hanabi there. So at least by default, it is more impactful.
Well, I do find the whole Inojin and Himawari thing. So this goes back to the anime, right? This is what I mean. Some of the writing decisions are weird. Because, like, Himawari and Inojin did bond in the anime when they were younger.
Bro, their half-ass bond isn't cutting it.
But
I don't care about their drawing episode at the beginning of part 1 that they'll never come back to again.
What I'm saying is, it's weird that they had them bond in the anime, and then later they go back to actually have them, quote-unquote, have a bond later on in the manga. It's like, why... It's odd to me, because it's like, you didn't do anything with the bond beyond that in the anime. And there's no reference to it in the manga, but you still went back to said bond anyway.
But Sauron,
it's like, why do they want those two characters to bond?
Inojin has a crush on Himawari in the novel, Sauron.
He definitely doesn't. That's not a thing.
Tell that to Twitter.
Regardless.
That's not true at all.
You do have to tell that to Twitter. But regardless, at the end of the day, whether they want to use the anime or the novels, if you're gonna do that, you gotta just include this one half-ass line of Inojin being like, I gotta protect Himawari because she made me love art or whatever it is. Just give the reference. Because if you haven't seen the anime, it means something.
No, I'm not. It's just weird. It seems to me that they have that they want this bond to exist, and I'm like, why? Why do you want this bond between the two to exist? What's particularly interesting about those two having a bond?
I mean, that's a good point as it is, but just for Kamui's example, imagine hypothetically we just never get Haku's or Zabuza's backstory, and the only relationship we know between Haku and Zabuza, we get every story event that plays out the way it does. Just the only thing we know about Haku and Zabuza is that Zabuza is like a rogue ninja, and Haku is the tracker Anbu meant to capture him and bring him back or something. The only thing we know about their relationship.
It is certainly bizarre, and I really do think that this is going to be one of those times where they're just like, well, the anime can do it. It's like, okay, sure. They certainly can, but like, because I'm so sure the anime is gonna do an entire scene where they're at the pancake shop. They're gonna set that up. They're gonna have Inojin and Himawari interact just to set up what happens later, to reference back to the pancake shop with Himawari and Jojo. They're gonna do a calm before the storm thing, and I'm all for it. But it's just like, why couldn't we just like do that in the manga? You couldn't not show Boruto for one chapter. For one chapter.
But you gotta draw Boruto making that face. He's gotta do the cool guy face.
He's gotta do the cool guy face.
Yes,
Every single time he is on screen, he has to be mugging. He has to be smoldering. He just does not stop looking cool. He looks cool in every single shot. It looks like he's aura farming. It's ridiculous.
And you need to juxtapose it with the greasiest drawing of Mitsuki to really let it sink in.
Well, Mitsuki always looked greasy.
No, that's not true.
It's like, first we had clickbait, then we had rage bait, now we're having hype bait or something. Like, what is this?
But no, yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm willing. Whatever, it's fine. But no, I think Hanabi would have been cool to have there. And again, Hanabi's another character that I think would make sense to show up in the manga, but she just doesn't exist.
She just doesn't care about her niece
maybe
being,
she just doesn't
devoured.
care. And it's like,
Yeah,
why
the
wouldn't
niece that she fought Hinata about in the novels.
Why wouldn't she be the one to, like, with Inashikacho, oversee Himawari's training with them?
Yeah.
I'm fine with Himawari training with them. That makes sense to me. That she would try and latch on to Boruto's friends as, like, help, since, like, Kawaki's become distant from her. Her parents are now quote unquote dead. That she would latch on to the people that Kawaki or quote unquote Boruto were close to. That makes sense to me, and I'm okay with that. But you would think that Hanabi would be there overseeing said training to advance her further, or at least have a reference towards Himawari talking to Hanabi and declining her offer, and that she just wants to train with them because she just feels more comfortable doing that. Just give me something that makes me think that there's other characters in the series that care about her than just these three people. And it's like, because we know they exist, and I don't know.
Well, do we?
It's just annoying.
It's not even to say it's one thing to go out of your way to just like randomly replace Inojin with Hanabi or whatever. It's another thing.
Just have her there.
It is just literally natural in the universe. To me, I would expect Himawari to be living with Hanabi and Hiyashi right now.
Exactly.
Like, what is her home life right now? It wouldn't make sense for her to live in the same place now that it's not just that Hinata's out of the picture. So who is it? Who is it?
Himawari?
No.
Hayashi?
No, the other one, the girl, Hinata's
Hanabi?
sister. Yeah, Hanabi. Yeah, it's not just that Hanabi can swoop in now that Hinata's out of the picture. Himawari lost Hinata and Naruto, both of her parents, and both of her brothers.
Her brother is distant from her, and he lives somewhere else. He doesn't live in the vicinity anymore. He lives in that other part of Konoha. So the assumption would be that she lives with the Hyuga clan, and yet there is no reference to them at all. And it ultimately, is it the biggest thing? It really isn't. But like, it's the small things that just like really bother me, because it just helps the world feel alive, and it help. I think there should be something to sympathize bit more with Himawari's situation, and just have us like explore that a little bit more. Where is she living? How was she doing after all those events went down? Just to have us connect more with Himawari, because for a long time, what was connecting the fans to Himawari? It was the anime. If you throw that away, it's just the fact that Himawari is really adorable. Unless you read the manga, where she's only sometimes adorable, but she was adorable, she's cute, and that is endearing. But ultimately speaking, there wasn't much to actually attach you to her character beyond being Naruto's daughter. So just giving us more things to attach to and would have just been great to set up what she eventually does later. It would just make it more impactful. It's small things that you don't even have to take up that much of the chapter to do, and they just don't do it. It's part of the reason why some of these moments that should be impactful are not as impactful to me, because they didn't do the work, or they half baked it, or they quarter baked it.
Or they just didn't bake it; they just served it raw.
But I mean, it is what it is. But I think it would do a lot to fully connect us to these characters. Because you can't just have these characters do a lot of these things and not build them up first.
Exactly.
It's not good stuff. It's just not good stuff.
It's one thing to say that over time, in the course of several years, that Himawari could eventually learn to expand out, broaden her horizons to the world around her, to develop a friendship and a closer bond with people like Ino Shikacho, but she should have that immediate guttural attachment to the very first one that would accept her in, which would obviously be the Hyuga clan at that point. After losing her entire world.
And you think that you would probably think that she would have been closed off at first as well, after losing her brother, becoming distant, and losing her parents, and thinking
she
that
didn't
they
have
are
a
dead.
bond with these people beforehand, realistically.
No, she just was cool with them because her brother was cool with them. That's not an actual bond.
Also, given Hiyashi's character in the anime, there's not a chance that dude is just ditching his granddaughter.
No, he might kill her from like hugging her too tightly.
Exactly, you would never stop hugging her.
Yeah.
Actually,
day.
Sauron, you brought up a good point. She's only friends with Inojin and the rest in the first place because she's friends with them vicariously through Boruto. If you remove Boruto from the picture, she just isn't friends with them. You know who she is friends with, regardless of Boruto? Her classmates. Where are they? They should have been the replacement for Team Ino Shikacho here. That would have been cool.
That could have been interesting.
Yeah, they're going to be grown up here anyways.
The main reason why they wouldn't want to do that is because they never established them in the manga.
Yeah, so you're running the same.
But like,
okay, has that stopped them from anything else?
Exactly.
No, hasn't. But they have done an inch of something with Ino Shikacho in the manga.
That's why it makes it worse for me, though, honestly.
But no, it being her classmates could have been exploring that side of Himawari. Like, what has she been doing for these past 2 years? Well, she has classmates now. That alone would so she's been training.
And have that be her team. Have her have graduated from the academy, and she's a Genin, if not Chunin, by this point.
Yeah, just don't. Of course, for some reason they don't wear their headbands. It is what it is. It's weird. Actually, no, they do wear their headbands. They don't always wear their headbands though. No, it's the adults that don't. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. My bad.
My bigger thing is it's like, if you're gonna say like, oh well, they're using the anime to justify Inojin's close bond with Himawari. If you're gonna do that, it's like, why don't you just use other anime things? Like, why are you gonna like pick out this random ass bullshit and then gloss over these other things the anime does? Like, I don't know, like, just pretend it doesn't exist. Like, you're so inconsistent with it.
I mean, if you want Ino Shikacho to be so OP anyways, have him be frickin' Jonin. At least have Shikadai be Jonin so that he can be the master leader, teacher, sensei person, whatever, over Himawari's team, which gives Himawari the reason to hang out with Ino Shikacho in general, which gets to how they can be her mentor, which that basically gets you to the same story anyways. And then also fixes powers going in of regard.
Right? I don't remember. There's no reference to their ranks, correct?
No, but let's be honest, they're not Jonin. Let's just be honest. They aren't.
No, they're definitely they're not.
Naruto's demoted to Genin. Like,
they're not treated like Jonin, but they have to be Chunin.
Sarada's a Genin. Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
They have to be Chunin. They just have to be.
Probably.
Unless they just never held a Chunin exams. Because of
I
the
think
whole
they
weird
are tuning just because they
thing.
went out of their way to emphasize how Sarda's ugly.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, you would be correct on that one. That wouldn't make it seem like she's an exception. Okay. Yeah,
then again, it's Ikimoto we're talking about here.
Shut up. Shut up.
You never know.
Just stop it.
Just say it.
But dude, no, I think that would have been cool. And it never ceases to bother me the responses whenever you say something like this. I've gotten them on Twitter before. Oh, you're just this is about the new This is about the new generation. You're just fans of. You're just saying this because you're a fan of these characters. The story's not about them. It's like, Do y'all like think for 2 seconds before you respond at all? I'm not even the biggest fan of these characters. It's the fact that they should exist. And the story is better in terms of like feeling alive and things that you can do to make attachments to these characters better by proxy of having these characters here because the interactions that you can have and explore there. It's
Well, even
just
then,
a better
when
story.
it comes to those comments, my thing is like, look, you would have a point if they didn't put Sakura in chapter 14 healing Inugene. Then I would say it's not about the Ulgin. The Ulgin's just not in the story. But Ikimoto went out of his stupid ass way to make Sakura the one healing Inugene in chapter 14 without addressing why she wasn't helping in the invasion itself.
So
when she has historically done so on more than one occasion.
Without giving
Boruto
her
and
the
in Naruto
Byakugo Karma Seal thing, by the way. I just want to point that out.
wait, what?
Oh.
Wait,
that was
Wait,
too
hold on.
irrelevant that they had to drop it, but you got to have this in there.
But yeah, my whole, when I heard that Sakura was in the chapter, I was like, oh really? It's not random Jonin Ninja number 2?
Exactly.
It's not them? I thought it was going to be them. You know
It
what
might as well have been.
you know what random fodder medical Jonin number 2 I'm referencing, right?
Yeah, in Attack on Titan, they reference them as like
exactly.
male scout 35A.
That one exactly. That one exactly. So I thought it was going to be them, just some random character, but no, it was Sakura, and I was like, oh, so she's alive. I thought she was dead. No, she's living. She's living, and she's alive.
She
and well.
cares more about Inugene than she does.
She even
Sakura.
looks prettier than she used to. Isn't that interesting? How her face is morphed.
She cares more about Inugene than she does Sasuke. Forget Sarada.
She does. Oh wait, I've just forgotten. We've gotten no Sakura and Sarada interaction at all.
At all.
Not even a single reference. And you thought, and here I thought, we're gonna open up the time skip. We're gonna get a calm before the storm. We're gonna get a nice talk with Sakura and Sarada and how they're feeling about the current situation. Do some character building with some character actions with some old characters because they exist and they're alive.
It gets even worse. This isn't just a Two Blue Vortex issue. They haven't interacted since Ikimoto took over. They haven't interacted since Kodachi.
But you know what they do waste time on instead? Rehashing for 11 pages. Sarada and Sumire talking about things that they already know and have already discussed and would have discussed a numerous amount of times and then redo it again with Ada just to reiterate to the audience stuff that we already know. That was worth my 11 freaking pages.
Are we sure they aren't under omnipotence? That's how they would be acting.
Well, another thing is like, so in chapter 5, Sarada was specifically pointing out how Sasuke, trusted her unlike everyone else. Which, this isn't Two Blue Vortex, she's saying this, which means that, well, Sakura didn't believe Sarada. In Sarada, it's not even brought up the fact that, it's not, I feel like that's first of all, the parent-child thing would dictate that Sakura probably would trust Sarada, but ignoring that, that would be an important thing to distinctly point out that, well, Sakura doesn't believe me, unlike my dad, kind of thing. You would want to make that clarification.
So
I think something you would want to point out, but they're just glossing over it. Did Sarada even talk to Sakura about it?
There's not a single reference to whether or not she's even told her mom.
Yeah.
Has she even
that is
seen
so
her mom?
True. Do they even live in the same vicinity?
Do they live in the same village?
Because we know Sarada didn't move over to where Ada and them are. She just scouts that location. At least I'm assuming that's still what her.
Yeah, Mitsuki's seemingly there 24/7. Yeah. But Sarada freaking comes and goes however she pleases.
Yeah, so
she knows she's on the mission anymore
for some reason. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
With some of the conversations that have taken place, you would have think that at some point she would have been like, "Well, my mom believes me." or my mom didn't believe me, like Kamui just said. Wait, that's a great point. That's a great point.
I forget, why was Ada allowed in the village to go clothes shopping in the prophecy arc? She just did it. She just didn't care because she wanted to. No one could stop her.
I just regret
because they didn't want to say
it
no.
is just what you said. No one could stop her, and
Okay.
Damon was right next to her.
Sure.
So if they tried to stop her, Damon would kill them.
That's funny though. It's like afterwards, there's still no consequences. Like Shikamaru from afar can't be like, "Don't do that. You're not allowed." So it's kind of funny.
And
like what's the point of the rule in the first place? What's the point of the
Mhm.
house? Like, why does Ada even still live there? She knows she doesn't have to live on the outskirts of the village. She can just live in Kawaki's house in the Uzumaki residence.
Because she wants to live with Kawaki.
Well, she still lives there because Kawaki's still there, like Kamui just said.
Well, yeah, but Kawaki's only living there because he's on the mission.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's really no reason for her to leave.
Ada's not going to disrupt
it. It has a good view, too.
That's fine.
It has a good view.
Because if hypothetically Ada disrupts it, then she doesn't get to live with Kawaki anymore.
Well, no, they could just both go live back at the Uzumaki household is what I was saying.
No,
but
he could just say no.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why Kawaki would say no, but why risk it?
Because he doesn't. I mean, I guess he would say, "Oh, you're just gonna watch me anyway, whatever."
I kind of wish that Moegi showed up. Now in retrospect, I kind of wish that Moegi showed up more in the anime and manga. In retrospect, if this is what they were going to do, because she really didn't have much of a role in either. My interpretation.
What do you mean, Saran? She pinched Shikanai and Itojin's ear in one chapter.
Yes, that was the significant thing. I'm sorry. See, this is where my idiocy comes in. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Or did you remember the time when Moegi purposely used her mind penetration jutsu on Abada when she could, based off her?
And he is cutting in and out.
Yeah, I definitely heard everything you just said. But yeah, I mean, because my interpretation, because I've been rereading the manga, I'm done with my movie thing. I finished it like a couple days ago. I'm gonna record it soon. Okay. But my interpretation of Moegi and Konohamaru's relationship was that of like brother sister. She calls him Big Bro. She doesn't call him Chan. I don't.
She calls him Lil Konohamaru.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Sauron. Have you seen the Chapter 18 leaks?
No.
Oh,
wait,
okay. Sauron, say that again, and Kamui, you know what to do.
Okay. Well, she doesn't call him Chan. She calls him like a little Konohamaru.
Oh,
and she
really?
treats him like how you would treat like a little brother. Someone who's like younger than you. They didn't give me Konohamaru even now doesn't seem to have any feelings for Moegi, and I never got the impression that Moegi had feelings for him. More so, she would just feel embarrassed for him whenever he would like be silly and whatnot.
So, so Sauron, if you will, please, I redirect you to chat. Look at the most recent post and the bottom of.
I encourage you to read the bottom center panel.
What? Can I call you? Wow.
That's a reaction. It wasn't just the wow. It was the inhale right before it.
Wow. That is...
Wow.
Wow, that is certainly something. Wow.
Also, notice the characteristic Ikimoto sweat bead in the right panel.
Okay, so I definitely saw this. I didn't read it though, but
I only read the bottom panel.
I have not read the top panel, just for reference, so please.
Oh, you haven't read the top panel? I haven't either. I just looked at the page.
I only read Konohamaru, John.
I've only looked at the page.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they gave a brother-sister type dynamic, so to me, I'm kind of like, is it possible? I don't know, maybe.
Well, I mean, Kodachi might have had them be brother-sister friends, and then
Ikimoto No. The relationship is the same, even after Ikimoto took over. If you go to, like, Boruto chapter 74, it's the same type of dynamic. She treats him like a little brother. She even, like, belittles him in a similar way, too. And that doesn't give me romance vibes. at all. Even when Konohamaru had the potential of like falling in love with Ada, there wasn't any hint of jealousy there. It was more so, and she'd feel embarrassed for him. Like, oh, silly Konohamaru, moron. How stupid can you be? Like that type of thing. So it's kind of like these feelings are coming out of nowhere to me.
Because they were good friends. It was like Sakura with Naruto at the beginning of Shippuden. They just had good friend energy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. You could argue that's her trying to like cover up her feelings, and then Matsuru's just doesn't know any better.
I wonder
gonna be the
if
excuse, but
it is possible. I mean, we'll see. If the feelings that whatever feeling that like Moegi had for Konohamaru, it got amplified when she became into her, and she doesn't really understand what that amplification feeling is, and it's causing her to be in love with like Konohamaru, even if Moegi herself only maybe felt that just a little bit, right? Because they've been friends for so long. Because I just don't get the impression that Moegi had feelings for Konohamaru. There's really
the problem is it seems like Kashin Koji told Shikamaru that Moegi had a crush on Konohamaru. So I feel like Koji
No,
just knows.
he told her that Matsuri had a crush on Konohamaru.
No, he says that Moegi does.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go back real quick. Okay. Because that would change.
Well, it's also weird because say whatever you want about the difference between Hidari and Moegi to where it makes no sense for this to happen in the first place, but you could just say that Hidari doesn't understand his emotions. But the problem is we've seen that Matsuri seems to be the most emotionally adept of all the Shinju.
So, yeah, that's true. So, I made this tweet on Twitter about Hidari, right?
Oh boy.
Oh, you know what? It might have been in the first translations I read that said Moegi, because in Viz it's saying Matsuri.
Yeah, which is what I read. So I made this tweet on Twitter, which was basically how if these feelings can be amplified or the feelings just carry over in terms of like your attachment and your love for another individual, then it is bizarre to me that Hidari had absolutely no hesitation in regards to killing Sarada. He didn't waver at all. As soon as he saw her, he wanted to kill her. It's not like he had to concentrate himself and then do it, which would be one thing. He just went for the kill. There was no link, and Sasuke loves Sarada. He loves that girl. It's a different type of love, but it is still love nonetheless. It is love that would make you waver when it comes to killing that said individual. Just like the love that Matsuri feels for Konohamaru.
Yeah,
so why did the love carry over? Is it because of the type of love?
Exactly.
Or is it just an inconsistency?
On surface level, it is weird of why Matsuri isn't doing immediately what Hidari does, but like they aren't the same person, so there are like you're saying two different ways to justify it. The way I was saying and the way you were saying is that the type of love is what matters rather than the quantity of it.
And Sasuke is the type of person who can easier detach from things.
Well, that as well.
I got a funnier one.
Yeah, just regardless of Sasuke, Hidari doesn't care to understand his emotions. He's just gonna do what he's wanting to do. Whereas Matsuri is taking the time to actually do, which is why, if anything, she would be the emotionally adept one, even though she should be already understanding of these feelings in the first place, in my opinion. But that's the point.
Well, the funny thing is, a lot of people like to say that the Shinju are like the opposite of their a host person. So if Sasuke loves Sarada, so Hidari hates Sarada. So maybe Moegi inversely loves Konohamaru. She dislikes Konohamaru romantically as much as possible, so that Matsuri will love him romantically.
No, Kamui, I got it. She's in love with Udon.
Konohamaru's ugly.
She's in love with Udon.
And if it's a brother-sister type relation, and if it's a brother-sister type relationship, like I just said, that would make sense. She's completely opposed to the idea of being in love with Konohamaru.
She completely friend zones Konohamaru in favor of Udon, whereas Matsuri's gonna be the other way around.
No, but I don't want Konohamaru to actually be interested in her.
That's kind of weird because that would imply...
that's why Udon's been saved from the manga. It's so we can get the reveal that Moegi's had a crush at Udon all his time.
Oh, God. But Saren, that the problem with that is that would imply that, like, if there was hypothetically an Ada Shinju, then she would romantically love Damon, and then Twitter would hate that and explode.
Oh God.
Well, half of Twitter would hate it, the other half would love it.
Oh, a quarter of Twitter would be like, yes, my fix.
But anyways.
My,
I was thinking
Japanese
about this. So I did say, like 20 minutes ago, a meme theory that I thought of just off the top of my head as we were talking about themes. I kind of low-key think it's Heat, though. Okay, so as you were saying, there was 11 pages of Sarada and Sumire frustratingly recapping things they've already said a billion times. And then I was making what if it's like they are under omnipotence? So hear me out. What if they actually are under omnipotence, like a different type of it or whatever, to where Ada wants them to think that they aren't under omnipotence? So it's not that they're immune. They are under omnipotence, but their omnipotence is to think that they're immune to omnipotence. So if they go against that, they have this conversation again and again.
Yeah, and like the way that would work, I'm an indulge. So
yeah.
Ada, because of her desire to have friends so much, she, in that particular moment, because in that moment she was extremely frustrated because she was around all these boys that just couldn't understand anything how she was feeling. Also, she was getting called out by Kawaki as being scum, and she's an annoying person, so she got her panties in a bunch. But whatever. She desired having girlfriends so badly in that moment that she
used omnipotence to turn everyone in the world into a girl.
That her powers affected Sarada and Sumire specifically to where they would think that they're not under omnipotence. Like, that would make...
Yeah, the interesting part about my theory is that this idea, this notion, it would mean that it can't be like an immunity thing, because if they were immune to omnipotence, then they would be immune to the immunity omnipotence.
Yes.
And omnipotence. So it's just pure immunity.
Okay.
I mean, your theory is basically the one that I did a video on.
Well, no, because your theory, I wouldn't say a slight difference. I would say a big difference in this case, because yours is just that they aren't currently being affected, but that they can be affected. Mine is that they're being affected, just in a
yours is that they aren't
way.
affected. They just think they're unaffected. But the only issue
because they're affected,
with that is that it effectively is just not being affected in the same way as mine.
Yes.
Because their memories just weren't changed. They just aren't under.
Well, no.
It doesn't really make a difference.
No. In this case, Ada is altering their memories because they're having this conversation over and over again about being immune to omnipotence, which they wouldn't naturally do under this hypothetical, which fixes the fact that this is a problem.
I guess that, yeah. I'll give you that.
Okay.
All right, so I kind of want to ask you guys about this, I guess. Y'all talked about a little bit on Shikamaru's plan earlier. So, Shikamaru's plan, so the befriend and then betrayal, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the possibility that we see both plans get enacted? So something similar to what like a Naruto would do and what Shikamaru would do. And we get that via the Hokage advisor via Konohamaru, and then the attempt at executing the plan via Sarada and Mitsuki. And we get to see the difference in outcomes and how those two things transpire. So Konohamaru, I don't think Konohamaru's not going to be able to kill Matsuri because she looks like Moegi, more so because of how Matsuri's acting. She's acting very kind and sweet, and
that's why we were saying debatably would have been better if Shikamaru's plan was to basically tell Konohamaru, like, oh yeah, they're so evil, and Konohamaru on his own would come to the realization, like, hey, this girl's like a sweet, innocent newborn, not evil, like Shikamaru said.
Yeah.
Like, on his own, versus Shikamaru telling him.
Which is interesting, but I mean, I can understand why Shikamaru told him that. He wants him to detach himself right from the very
That's what
beginning.
I said. It strategically,
Mhm.
it's arguably better because he's getting it out of the way immediately, so Konohamaru already is ready for it.
But-
versus being caught off guard
Because
by it.
ultimately speaking,
regardless-
Konohamaru already knows that they were just born. He already knows that they were just born recently.
But that's again
So-
just saying something new anyways, because I agree, he knows that they're just born. That would just be, again, saying an additional thing, an additional element that Shikamaru had no reason to include. All Shikamaru has to say, Konohamaru, I'm sending you on an assassination mission. Here are your targets. That's it. You do that, he's emotionally disconnected. He has no reason to connect.
Yeah, I guess it's true, but I don't think it's actually like it's not something that it doesn't really like bother me at all. Like it makes sense why he told him that.
It's like hypothetically, if forget the mission, he just doctored a bingo book to put Matsuri in it. What's the difference between that and just any other normal mission where he would be instructed to do this tactic?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what he did during the hog tie mission in the filler.
The reason why he probably told him that is because although you are correct if he didn't, there wouldn't be any attachment. But I think the attachment would just simply be because Shikamaru knows the type of guy Konohamaru is. He might just have the slightest bit of attachment just because she looks like because she looks like Moegi. So
he should emphasize that.
Sure, but I feel like you don't really need to in a conversation, but I can get your point.
Because otherwise, I get what you're saying. Maybe Konohamaru has a type of personality. That hasn't stopped Konohamaru from being in the Shinobi Hiden column as the one of two exceptions in the world to go on missions to do things like this. Like, you remember who accompanied Sasuke to the Hidden Rain to take down Kara and kill that guy that killed himself? He didn't emotionally attach to that kid, now did he? He was like Sasuke.
But yeah, so what I was saying was, it'd be so Konohamaru. So I think because of the way like she acts, he's not going to be able to. If she acted malicious, I think he would be able to. So that's not going to be the problem that she looks like Moegi. It is how she's acting, and I think Konohamaru, since he won't be able to bring himself, he's going to try and actually just befriend her, and eventually I could see him trying to convince her to let Moegi go and like just let Konohamaru just defeat her without pushback.
Well, the problem though is like, what if Konohamaru becomes too good of a friend with Matsuri, and then he's like, he doesn't have the heart to choose between them anymore.
I just don't see that as really a thing that could happen, because at the end of the day, he's going to pick his old friend over her, no matter how much he comes close to her.
But then it's weird for him to emphasize this anyways.
Yeah. And then we're going to see Sarin and Mitsuki, they are going to betray Ryu, and we're going to see it blow up in their face. And then because they betrayed Ryu, I can see the girl Matsuri then also blowing up, and then it causing a bunch of conflict. Shikamaru's plan is a plan that has an easy window to like win if they're able to execute it correctly, but the consequences if they do fail are far greater consequences in terms of how aggressive they would feel. They would start to develop the feeling of betrayal, which would make them even more aggressive. Could potentially make them even more aggressive and hostile than they were before.
The other flaw with this plan is like
they won't be alive to feel the betrayal.
To execute this plan properly, they need to do it at the same time. But how are they going to coordinate that?
Just do it immediately. That's the thing. That's the only way. Unless you're going to like count down.
It's just like if Ryu screams, Matsuri, they're betraying us. Oh, too bad Konohamaru. Now Matsuri knows, or vice versa. Like this doesn't work. And Konohamaru is obviously not going to be the first one to do it. It's just he's screwed. It's such a bad plan.
But yeah, so if the plan fails, it has a worse outcome than if they were to actually just befriend them. So I could see them both flipping out on on Sarada Mitsuki and Konohamaru whatnot. Somehow they get away, somehow they survive, somehow it gets resolved. And then, but because of how Konohamaru treated Matsuri, and because he treated her like an actual person, like a human, she will still have that level of attachment to Konohamaru that they can then use to their advantage in the future. But Ryu's off the board. He's completely off of the board. And we're going to see the contrast in terms of results of what Konohamaru, which is a more Naruto, how Naruto would kind of go about doing this, versus Shikamaru's cold-hearted and, I guess, logical approach. And we're going to see that Konohamaru's way of doing it actually yields a better result. The more empathetic approach. I could be wrong. They might not go that way, but I think they could go that way.
It'd be really cool.
Matsuri would be the one that's like that they can kind of reel in.
It's to show this world favors darkness, which I think would be really cool for the Naruto series.
I don't know if it would be because a lot of times Naruto and his way of doing things is kind of proven to be like good, right? So you would perpetuate that idea you would kind of continue on that idea through Konohamaru, the Hokage advisor. He's going to carry on Naruto's will and how he would go about doing this. And you can see the contrast between the Hokage advisor and the actual Hokage, which is Shikamaru in this situation. He would be the fill-in for Naruto here.
Yeah. I like the idea.
I think that could be interesting.
I wish more so that if you're going the idea that one of them succeeds, one of them fails, because one of them follows Naruto's path, the other follows the Tobi Ramadanzo path. It's because of a split in the road after a exact same situation. So I'd rather all of Team 7, I guess the Sand, Shinobi 2, just to be in this room hearing Shikamaru explain the plan, rather than off-screen Shikamaru explain what Shikamaru told him is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's probably not going to be the same thing. It's like, especially considering Konohamaru's going into it so like half-heartedly in the first place, regardless of meeting Matsuri and growing whatever inevitable bond connection he's going to. He's going into this Shikamaru meeting like, bro, what are you talking about?
So, because, I mean, this plan is so dangerous. Like, if they succeed, they're dead. But, like, if they fail, it is really, really bad. Ryu already had a certain level of aggression towards Konoha Shinobi that went beyond the other Shinju. The other Shinju really only attacked other Konoha Shinobi when they were provoked and they were being actively attacked. He was going to kill any Konoha Shinobi that came across him.
Ryu's first instinct is just fucking fight everyone.
It was just to kill. It only got qualmed because of Jura. And because of how the Konoha Shinobi acted.
It wasn't even qualmed. He
Code.
Just submitted. He still wanted to kill him.
Same with Code. He immediately was going to go kill Code. Jura's like, no, don't. And then after he's like, can I kill him next time?
Yeah, like he's literally asking permission from the person who he didn't do it in the first place because of. He wants to do
it. So it's certainly like... That was just his instinct, and it's an instinct that goes beyond the other Shinju and how they're acting so far. So I do partly wonder why that's the case. Is it because of the type of personality Shinki has? He doesn't really give me Shinki vibes, to be honest, in terms of personality.
No, he's like the opposite.
He's almost the exact opposite. He's incredible.
He's aloof and informal. Like, all of them are kind. Some of them, like Mamushi versus Bug, it's not some like noticeable opposite thing. It kind of feels like the same, not gonna lie. Just alien. But you look at like Hidari versus Sasuke, Hidari's kind of weird and stupid. Jura versus the Dentails is obviously opposite. Dentails wants to kill everyone. Jura apparently doesn't want to kill anyone. And
Ryu seems oddly trusting by very simple means. Like, simple, like, normal gestures that aren't even really that kind. He's just like, "Oh my gosh, guys, y'all are really cool." It's like, why are you so? That's what I mean. I like.
Man, I was gonna kill you before you said hi.
He's like, I was gonna kill y'all, but y'all ended up being cool anyways. Bro, last chapter, despite my problems with it, I did have fun reading it. I did.
It was
I
funny.
just did. It was a funny chapter.
Yeah.
And this manga has no comedic scenes. Well, it does, but they're so few and far between. I had to laugh. And then there's a scene where Ryu kind of, have you ever seen that one meme where like it's that the black guy, he's like waving his thumb around, it's like, oh, this moron, this idiot. You can actually see him when do that similar thing in when he was talking to Matsuri. So after Matsuri couldn't do what she was supposed to do as the elder in the situation, he does like this hand gesture, like this moron. I thought that was such a nice little touch. It was so similar to the meme that's gone around. But
Oh, by the way, him calling Matsuri elder does confirm the fact that it's not like a Jura thing. It's just everyone in the first 4 Shinju generation is considered a earlier generation, and Shinju's Ryu is in a new generation.
yeah,
Which is silly, but okay.
It is kind of weird because they're like hours apart.
Yeah, well, do you think that he's going to consider the next 3 Shinju that are born to be in the same generation, or the next generation? Like, how does it work for him? Is it a 4 thing? Or
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
It can also have to do with who plucks the fruit or whatever, because Matsuri like plucked his Thorn Soul, so that's like his quote unquote parent. So maybe if Matsuri does it again, it'd be like Ryu's brother, but if Ryu does it, then it's like his child kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my idea for Shikamaru and Konohamaru. But
yeah, I mean the Shikamaru thing, it's just like, I don't know why he's adding all this extra crap. Even Konohamaru is like, it's like, this is the gist of our mission, right? Like, just say that. This should be what Shikamaru said. So Konohamaru, the gist of your mission is to subdue the divine trees and collect their thorn bulbs. That's all you gotta say.
You're saying you don't know why, but you know, like, what his intention is. You just don't think that it's necessary.
I think it makes no sense, but I get it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, although it may not be the best way to go about it.
But
yeah,
again,
I think it makes sense, but it's arguably better story-wise if he was being withholding in what he's saying, or manipulative in what he's saying, so that Konohamaru in the story would find out on his own the flaw in Shikamaru's plan and why it's, quote unquote, morally wrong.
It's not that it's nonsense. It's that it makes no sense. Not that it unmakes sense. Just makes no sense. That being said, again, like even Shikamaru can be like, yeah, you can go about the mission however you want, but as you know, I'm like the smartest guy here, so I got a strategy if you want. It's like, here's what I would do if I were you. And he just says what he would do. Like, here's the flaws of the strategy. You might become like emotionally connected, but like, just strategy-wise, just don't do that. And you should be good. Like, I don't know why he's not wording it this way. Like, this is what he could have done this with freaking Heat On. This is how he would have worded it if it was Heat On and not Matsuri. Like, I don't know why he's doing it like this.
I do want to talk about Matsuri in this latest thing. I guess we can talk about that now. Sure. So she says, I was really nervous, but I don't even know why. At this... Oh, wow, that is so blurry. Hold on. What does that say? At first, I was uneasy, but as we talked, I started to feel calm a little, and by little. Okay.
Where is this?
The first time we met.
Is this? I hope this isn't the spoiler.
Oh, it's the newest page.
Is this the spoiler? Should I not be listening to this?
It's
honestly,
really,
Oodie, like I told you, bro.
Really not a
this spoiler's nothing new, bro. I told you this before. It's just freaking chapter 17. it's slightly different new words. It's not new information.
Okay,
Yeah, so
whatever,
she says
whatever.
something. She says something along the lines. Man, I can't read. I need to actually look the thing. It's just too blurry.
All right, I can read it. I was really nervous, but I don't even know why. At first, I was uneasy, but as we talked, I started to feel calm little by little. Konohamaru says, after all, it's the first time we've met. Well, Matsuri says, talking to you makes me feel like I can finally become the person I want to be in the future. It's really fun.
So
is that so? Well then, that's good. Can I call you Konohamaru-chan?
The only line that I found interesting here was the line about the person she wants to be in the future. So the person that she wanted to be in the future is interesting to me because, well, her whole thing is to consume Konohamaru, right? So if that's what she's talking about here, this whole interaction makes her want, if that is what she's talking about, makes her want to consume Konohamaru even more to then learn more about herself to become who she wants to be in the future. Or is it actually that because Jura and the things that he said in the chapter kind of coerced them into, or pushed them in the direction of wanting to go after their targets that they had an attachment to, but now that she's friends with now that she's feels this feeling with Konohamaru, she has an actual idea of what she wants to be in the future that goes beyond just consuming him.
Yeah,
It
what
would have
I
been
think
what her
I
initial
think
idea
Kamui, we're
was
on the same page on this, but if you want to say it, go ahead.
yeah, regardless of whether Matsuri will try to devour Konohamaru in the end or not, I do think that for the story, there's more than one path that they can take to finding their identities. Devouring is going to be the
Exactly.
quote-unquote evil one. This is just an allusion to the fact that no, they don't need to devour their targets to become the person they want to be in the future. If Matsuri were to stay on this path that she's discussing right now, she would form her identity as Matsuri, whatever that would end up being. Like, whether or not she does it is up in the air. But
Okay,
like,
that's not
yeah.
at all the interpretation I got, which is interesting.
What were you gonna
Yeah,
say?
so what's your interpretation?
Okay, so first of all, this wasn't the interesting line to me. It was actually the line on the right. Well, I wasn't even getting the line on the left first, but it plays into the line on the left. So first, I'll just say, and don't interrupt me once I say this, please, but I was going to say, well, I was really nervous, but I don't even know why. At first, I was uneasy, but as we talked, I started to feel calm little by little. What does this tell me? Well, the reason that Hidari was going after Sarada and Matsuri wasn't going after Konohamaru at first was because Hidari was like emotionless. He didn't care to understand his emotions. He was just going straight at her. Matsuri was trying to care at first. As time is going on, her instinct is going to be like taking over as her uneasiness, as she says, is going away. It's like a ticking time clock to where the longer this goes on, the less flirtiness is going to be overtaking her and the more she's going to want to devour her target until eventually she just does, similar to what Hidari was trying to do. So again, it's like a ticking time clock. As more time goes on, Konohamaru's in more peril. And this line on the left would be alluding to that. I think this is like an evil side-eye. If you want to mention Attack on Titan side-eyes with the sweat beads, you say whatever you want about the blushing. That's just already there. So you think it was
the original the first interpretation?
I think it's a double meaning. I think it's on purpose because the audience knows the tragic double layer. She's alluding to eating him in this panel, I assume. Konohamaru doesn't think that because the double meaning about what you guys are saying, talking to them, is the way to find it out, which is what Konohamaru is assuming. Yeah, but also Konohamaru might also be responding in this way, knowing that's actually what she's talking about based on the uneasiness of this reply, possibly.
Yeah. To clarify,
he does say, "Is that so?" Well, wait, actually, is that
well? Then that's good. But does he actually genuinely mean that? Either way, he's uneasy. But is he uneasy because of the mission that he knows that he has to betray her, despite her feeling this way, or is he uneasy because he's understanding the allusion to this is her target?
Yeah, it could be either. But real quick. Your initial response sounded as though you were saying that those can't both be true. And as far as what I was saying, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but my point is that like I said, whether or not she does choose to be consuming Konohamaru or not is up in the air. But the point is that technically she doesn't have to eat him to find his identity.
That's fine.
In a sense, whether it's double speak or not, for this story, it is presenting the fact that she can become what she wants to become if she just continued to talk to Konohamaru and so on.
That's fine.
But,
I personally, I
the
find
tragic
that
part might be the fact that she chooses not to in the end.
I understand that. Personally, I would find that to be more boring anyways if they could just do both. I prefer if it is just one. And they either choose to do it or don't. But that's not the point. The point is, I understand what you're saying. I conceptually agree. But that is more like of a broad analysis talking point in general, whereas this is like specifically what is Matsuri referring to here in this panel. I think it is only one thing. I don't think Matsuri is referring to the talking, even if it is hypothetically also true.
Yeah, to clarify, I'm referring to the story message, not what she's... We were basically answering two different questions.
Which is weird, considering it's a specific analysis of this panel, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, there's more than one way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but certain ways are better than others.
Well, sometimes, yeah. I don't think anyone was a better way to do it. We just did two different, like, said two different things that are true to get at two different things. I don't know, like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like you chose the left side of Moegi's hair hat thing, and I chose the right side. Like, that's all.
Well, it's like you were making a general story analysis and using this as an example, when this is the first time we're reacting to this in the specific panel.
Well, it's just because in light of what Saran, I don't even remember what Saran asked, but like,
so
had to do with what Lee said.
What I originally asked was, do you think that this is a reference to the future, as in she wants to devour Konohamaru more and more, and she's thinking about doing it in this moment as she calms down, which is what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's in reference to a possibility that she doesn't actually want to do that right now, and it's going to be what she originally thought of doing before she got baited into wanting to devour Konohamaru.
So,
I mean, truth be told,
if
I do
that's
think she's
going to
being
be the
pulled
case.
in both directions.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a matter of which direction she chooses.
Mhm.
I
I
think all the
disagree.
Shinju can be pulled into.
I do think she is just only wanting to devour Konohamaru here.
Okay, I think regardless of whether it's 70-30, 50-50, 90-10, I do think they're most Shinju, except for maybe Mamushi, are going to be pulled in two directions at some point.
I think that it is either one, but the one I think is more likely is the devouring of Konohamaru, which was my original interpretation. But I wanted to bring up the second interpretation, that it's something beyond wanting to devour him, but more so because she's feeling this, she wants to feel. Maybe she wants to continue feeling this in a different way and continue interacting with him, and that's the future that she's envisioning. I think that is less likely than her wanting to devour him, which I think is the...
Yeah, well, again, like, just to clarify, there is a difference between what the story's saying and what Matsuri's thinking.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Matsuri might be thinking about how devouring is going to be great or whatever, but that line being in the story does tell you that the future Matsuri that she could become that way without devouring.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm saying it's both.
There's something you need to know about Kamui, is that he loves his masks, okay? That is like his storytelling narrative marshmallow right there. He can't go without it.
I didn't even use the word here.
I don't disagree.
He thrives on it.
I don't disagree with him though. I do think it is a possibility.
Well, no, I do think it would massively bring down her potential if she was pulled in both directions, because that would just make her worse of a villain than her best possibility if she just wasn't.
Not inherently, it just depends on what they do with it.
I completely disagree. For the villain that she's supposed to be, she just wouldn't be filling her position, her role.
What is she supposed to be? What type of villain she's supposed to be?
Okay, for example, why was Gaara who he was?
Huh?
Because he was hurt.
Because he was alone. He actually
Yeah,
was
so he was
alone,
hurt.
though, is the thing, and he did get power from that. That wasn't a lie or a mask or a double angle, or he wasn't being pulled in two directions. He was 100% fully focused, entirely devoted to taking down Naruto
Gaara
with that path. And it was the
Gaara
path that was
isn't
wrong,
a
not
Ten-Tails
Gaara.
with instincts to devours, but humanity from a nice, friendly girl who loves Konohamaru.
And with what I said earlier about how I think Matsuri's
Didn't
going to
address
be
what I
the
said.
one, of what I said earlier, which is that Matsuri's going to be the one that they're actually able to pull in because of Konohamaru and because of the bond that he developed with her. I don't even think that she's going to be the villain I originally thought that she was going to be anyways. If it goes the direction that I think it's possible it could go into. If they do the whole Konohamaru and Shikamaru thing. But if they do go that direction, then sure. I just don't know what this supposed to thing that you're getting at.
Yeah, I just need them to be the Promised Neverland demons.
She's not supposed to be anything right now. She's a blank canvas right now.
We're going under the hypothetical
speaking,
that she just is an antagonist.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, my thing is more that, like, regardless of the specific weightings, all the Shinju are going to be pulled in the direction of the Ten-Tails and their human side, which are going to be at odds, at least for the most part, to devour and to not. They're going to be pulled in both directions to some degree, because at the end of the day, the humanity of Moegi doesn't want to devour, whereas the Ten-Tails instincts do. You're just getting those two opposite pulls, regardless of the weightings between them. One of the Shinju, whether that's Jura or Hidari, one or two of them are probably going to be neck and neck 50-50 at some point. Others, like Mamushi, might be more like 80% Ten-Tails, 20% human, for example. Matsuri could be whatever. The point is, they're going to be pulled to some degree in both directions, just because they have both components.
I feel like that devalues the Shinju to say that the Shinju are essentially two different entities in one body, the Ten-Tails and the original person, fighting against one another, pulling and pushing against one another, rather
it's not
than
that they're two different entities, it's just two different aspects of them.
Well, no, I think it should be a wholly unique new third entity that works together based on the combined assets of the previous two, like a new child from two parents.
Yeah, but the whole thing about
it doesn't feel like that's what they've done.
No,
with them.
Like, to me, it seems more like whatever side, how I could see it going is like whatever side in any particular moment is getting more stimulus in terms of whether it's the human or the desire to devour. Which one is getting more stimulus is the one that they're going to go closer towards.
I feel like it's what they've done personally.
I think that's actually a good point, though. Jura is trying to stimulate them towards devour. Of course, Jura himself, though, doesn't actually do it, which I think is actually good.
In fact, he's doing a lot of things
reading
that aids
instead,
in what he wants to do, which is to read, to learn more information.
Yeah.
So whatever gets them more stimulus is going to be the desire that they actually go towards. It's just that the desire to want to destroy the planet and to consume is stronger on a baseline level. But it doesn't mean that it has to be the case. That the other stimulus can't overpower it if they're given enough stimulus. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
I think it's interesting. Antagonists need to be the embodiment of the diametrically opposed path to the protagonist.
Okay, but then who's the protagonist of this arc?
We have 4 villains here. Like, we have 4 possible antagonists here. She doesn't have to be an antagonist too.
Well, we also have to figure out who the protagonist of the arc is first.
Yeah.
Who is it? I don't know yet. It might be Konohamaru. It might still be Boruto. It might be freaking Shikamaru. Nobody knows yet.
It could be Hibari.
Exactly. And until you know who the protagonist is, it's kind of hard to pinpoint who the diametrically opposed antagonist will be.
Exactly. And yeah, you're right. We don't know who the there's not enough, because this arc just started, to go off of who's the protagonist of this arc. As of right now, it is a 50-50 split between Sarada, Mitsuki, Konohamaru in terms of this
I
arc
can't
so
even
far.
say it's not Konohamaru's goal driving the story forward so far. If anything, it's Shikamaru's goal to have them all go on a mission. Like,
So we can't say in the long run what it is, but we can say based off what we have to work with that this is seemingly the direction that it's leaning in as of right now, anyways.
what, that Konohamaru is the protagonist?
Not that that necessarily is most likely, but it's an analysis I can make based off of this.
I mean, yeah, I would agree. Like, so far, you'd have to pick him, but like,
Yeah.
it's just too early.
Personally, I
Could've been all
don't think
over
he's
the
going to be
place.
the protagonist of this arc, but as of
Exactly.
right now,
And-
for this,
Fingers
he is.
crossed he is.
Protagonist of this scene, at the very least.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed he is the protagonist of this arc. Because I have a bias.
Sauron, have you read The Promised Neverland?
Nope.
Okay, never mind. Well, for those that have, just think about the Goldie Pond demons, and there you go. That's what I'm imagining.
Oh, so you have an idea for what you want these guys to be.
Well, that's an example. The idea didn't influence what I wanted them to be in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You say like you don't believe me.
But no, ultimately speaking, I found this page interesting. So I don't
Okay.
think it's a waste of a page.
Well, there you go.
No, I'm only saying that because I saw people complaining about the page. I was too lazy to read the page, but people were complaining about the page on Twitter, saying, "Oh my gosh, it's romance stuff." And people are talking about their feelings. I hate people talking about their feelings. These chapters have been so cringe. Let me go find that tweet.
But okay, regardless of the interpretation that we each have of this left panel, what do you guys think about the right panel? I was really nervous, but I don't even know why. At first I was uneasy, but as we talked, I started to feel calm little by little. Do you think this is like a dangerous thing? Because it feels like the flirtatious nature is almost the crutch that was saving Konohamaru all this time.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's dangerous because, it depends on whether her calmness is her growing her feelings or if it's just her being calm. But it's definitely something to be wary of at the very least.
Yeah,
Because the calmer
question...
she is, the more easily she can decide, the more easily she can notice if Konohamaru is acting strange, the more easily she can think about, oh yeah, I gotta devour him, and so on.
Yeah, the question is her instinct overriding her, or is she getting used to the sensation? It's like
exactly,
two different directions.
Interestingly, this kind of sounds like omnipotence with the over time, and my ease has been, little by little. And so yeah, because if she's just getting used to it, well, again, that doesn't necessarily mean she loves her less, but if it's her instincts taking over a little bit, I don't know.
And regardless of the devouring thing, just in general, this is overall a worse situation. When she's flustered, even if Konohamaru's the one that strikes first, she's gonna be less operable. She barely could stand when she was freaking
she's not even looking at him half the time.
Yeah, but if she's just able to contain and quell her excitement, she'll just be able to fight better once that happens.
Yeah.
I really want to see her fight with her Baryon mode.
I want to see her fight too. But I mean,
you don't want to see her off-screen fight again,
bro. I need the animation.
It's not gonna happen, bro. Okay, now that's another thing. The anime should extend, but won't. You want to go back to that Kara conversation?
I really hate saying that. I truly do. But
exactly.
Fingers crossed they do. Fingers crossed they do. I don't know.
Before they won't.
I hopefully they do. It's not a 100% that they wouldn't do it, by the way. It's not. There's a chance
I mean,
they would do it.
if I had the choice between them finishing the prophecy arc properly and this, I'm going with the prophecy, which they won't extend.
Oh, well, they're not gonna. Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by extension.
Make it a good arc.
No, it depends on what you mean by extension, because I think they'll extend the ending part, after Boruto leaves.
The problem is they're not going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of having 3 panels of everyone saying goodbye, they'll have 10 scenes of all these anime original characters saying something.
Iwabe is gonna be like, I
never
can't
do
wait to
anything.
train my rock style.
Iwabe's gonna vow to get stronger just so he can never appear again.
No, so then he can then die to the claw grinds.
And not be
Yeah.
turned into a
Not
tree
even get
without
devoured. He's just gonna
explanation.
die.
No.
He's gonna be
just
the ninja who
actually
gets
die.
swatted. He'll be the guy
Yeah.
who gets swatted by the claw grind.
It'll be their way of getting rid of the anime original characters that people don't like Iwabe and Moegi and that screamy girl that
Nah,
I
bro, they're
want to
not
hit
gonna
with a
do
bat.
that. They're not gonna do that. No, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna have a whole episode of the screamy girl screaming at claw grinds.
Yeah, exactly. And the claw grind screaming back.
This is slanderous behavior.
Watch, they're gonna start calling her Otsuki, then we're gonna get a mini arc about her backstory.
They're gonna have a scene of Nabida crying at the pancake shop, and then Himawari's gonna show up, and she's gonna show her special syrup that she always orders, and make Nabida not cry anymore. And then Inoji's gonna draw a picture of the pancakes on the wall, and they're gonna be all hunky dory.
This is such slanderous behavior. But look at the tweet I sent.
Let's look at this tweet about Hidari.
Put it in general.
I do a scroll up. Is this? Are you Howl? No,
it's in general. It's in chat. It's in chat.
Okay.
No, it's the tweet that I sent.
Yeah, the masked Saiyans.
Yes.
Love Boruto, I really do. But this whole little subplot thing is so cringe and boring. Not just Konohamaru plus Matsuri, but the whole just talking about their feelings, flirting with each other, and etc. These last 3 chapters or so isn't it for me.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I just found the tweet funny. I'm stupid. Sorry. I don't know, man. I see the sentiment so much.
Please,
and with any time you have like characters show any romantic attraction towards another, and it's usually like in regards to girls, people just can't. Some people just can't withstand it.
Oh my god, this is so much higher quality. That's insane.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
I forgot how long I was looking at such bad quality. What happened? Oh, this is a different translation. Yeah, Konohamaru-chan. Okay, let's look at this one.
Wait, why is that? That looks so good.
Right?
Save it.
Okay. Well, I mean, here, I'll just copy paste it to the Discord. I'm not going to save it on my computer.
Yeah.
Look at how good Ikimoto's art is.
This panel actually looks pretty decent.
It does. I wasn't joking.
Yeah. But as we talked, I started to feel more at ease. I wonder why. Because we've just met. That's why. I feel like I've finally become my usual
Sweat beat every
self.
panel.
It's really fun talking with you. I see. Well, that's good then. That's
okay. This translation is
okay.
Different.
This is different. I feel like I've finally become my usual self.
Yeah.
So, okay, what is her usual self?
It's really fun.
Devouring her target.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, because this makes it more of like, okay,
this
she
is
was
a different translation. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. This is a different
that's different
translation.
from like ideal future self. This is usual. Okay.
Wow. Why does this look so good? The quality of this screenshot.
AI upscale.
It probably is. Yeah.
I don't think usually AI upscale kind of smudges some things, but maybe it is. But no, I think the translation makes more sense. Like it definitely makes my first interpretation a lot more likely.
Yeah. This one doesn't even allude to the like fact that like in theory they could find their identities in humane ways. This one's just like like her usual self. That's different.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. All right.
Okay, Oodie, translate the raws on that panel. You already saw the raw earlier. Like, what are they saying? Are they talking about the usual self or future self?
Wolgy.
I can actually zoom in here.
Still better quality than the other one, even while this zoomed in.
Hondai, I think, is the word. Because I recognize that one. Let's see exactly.
Hondai
So
Kitetsu.
original or primary, so it's gonna be like true self. Oh, actually, I like this word. Intrinsically. Naturally.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
So yeah, usual self.
Yeah.
That's leaning towards the other one. So this one's seemingly just implying, like, yeah, I'm ready to devour you now, kind of thing.
All right. Okay. Cool. I think we found him.
We found him.
Yeah, we found it. We found a more accurate translation that made more sense.
Like it.
All
Completely
right.
removes the question.
Okay.
So that was a conversation that meant that was a conversation
Nothing,
that just
I
needed
guess.
to be had at all.
Okay.
Wow, that's so great.
I have a separate chapter 17
Who
Matsuri
sits
topic
like that?
that I want to talk about a month late. And this is by far the most excited topic that I've been excited to talk about since the chapters come out that we didn't talk about last time that I really wanted to.
Okay, I just
Well,
need to
I have a really
one
stupid thing to
though.
point out real
Just need
quick.
to ask you one thing.
Okay, well, both of you say your one thing. I don't even know if there are any other Boruto things to talk about. Like, is this Konoha symbol always been here in the Hokage office at the Hokage desk? Has the Hokage desk always been pentagonally shaped? I think so. Or was it rounded? Let's see.
Might depend on the image.
What else was there? The fact that Ryu's like all nonchalant was pretty crazy to me, but we were talking about. I feel like that's pretty much it, right? The joining forces.
I think we covered it. Yeah.
Elder. Oh yeah, I think we talked about this last time, but like the quote unquote clues they're finding, like they're playing freaking Blue's Clues as if a piece of like the piece of metal, the 1 in a billion luck that's actually here. First of all, like as if this gets you any closer to finding Boruto at all.
I don't know. Apparently, the trees are gonna tell him all about it.
With the 4 reels, bro, it's great. With the exclamation mark is crazy.
It's just like, what?
They comb the area, except not really, and the Matsuri. And Konohamaru notices. Yeah, trouble breathing, by the way. Just go back to that. Yeah, so that confirms the Shinju breathe.
Wait, real quick. Okay. We found other stuff that might be Boruto's over that way too. It started just bullshitting. What did she find?
Ooh, look, Ryu, that sand mound. I think Boruto made it.
Do you think like Shikamaru gave Team 7 a bunch of Boruto stuff, and then like they're just throwing it at the ground? He's not looking. It's like, oh wow, look at this.
Yeah, like Sarada brought like Boruto's old boot from his house, throw it on the ground, like, look, hint.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they're playing a game of Clue.
Mitsuki just threw some random ass piece of metal on the ground. I think this is Boruto. Ryu's like, for reals?
Oh no. It's also like how does this work? The alleged items she found over that way are near the other comrades. Is it Sarada that found it? Was it the other comrades that found it? Do the other comrades indicate to Sarada that they quote-unquote supposedly found something that Sarada is now indicating to Ryu? Or once they go over to the comrades, is Ryu going to be like, all right, guys, what is this clue? And Yoda's going to be like, what are you talking about? Is that going to give them away? Like, how does this work?
I hope so, honestly, because I'm not going to lie. I think Mitsuki either brought a piece of metal or found a piece of metal and is actually being like good at this. I think Sarada's just bullshit. Like, oh, I think I see something over there, and then Mitsuki's like, oh yeah, that's where our comrades are. He's gonna try to distract him. I don't think Sarada found anything.
Bro, I hope Ryu calls Sarada out for like, there's nothing over here. And then Sarada has to make some bullshit up like, I guess it was a mirage. And Ryu's like, what's a mirage?
Yes, dude. I'm so down, bro. I hope that comes true.
Bro, I love the like 5 lines of indication. Like they did not need to do that for this imposing, threatening villain.
I mean, he's so imposing, his pants are unbuttoned.
It's literally Looney Tunes, bro. I don't get it. What did this turn into a Disney cartoon? Oh, and then Mitsuki with his like rock and roll emo hair. I don't understand. Especially here. Especially here, bro.
Doesn't look like Mitsuki's hair in this panel.
No, what happened? Like it's like Inojin grew to 20 years old.
I wait. All right, go to Boruto chapter 1 for a second, just for the comparison. I know he's not wearing the headband, but like. The part with Mitsuki, when he's saying, you're the sun, whatever. Or he's looking all menacing with Kawaki or something.
Is it even in chapter 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm definitely not at all.
Alright, go scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
him in the wind. Keep going.
That's a little better.
Bad there.
But... Oh my god.
After this one was better.
What lavender is bro using? This is like 100% conditioner. Oh my god. Did Kawaki flying make like some static electricity? Did Mitsuki rub his head on a balloon? What happened? Bro's hair is up like Matsuri's outfit when she fights.
The activated sage mode there. I changed my mind. It wasn't really that good in chapter 1. Yeah, 3 months to make that, by the way.
Yeah, okay, this was interesting. If we don't retrieve those thorn bulbs, Matsuri and Ryu will keep resurrecting. That's not true. It's not if you don't retrieve them. It's if they come back here. I understand he probably knows this, and Konohamaru probably doesn't, and that's probably the reason that he's saying it like this. But I thought this was an interesting way to phrase it, at the very least.
I mean, you could just consider it like an overgeneralization to where it's just like, if you don't get them back, they're just going to come back, because
that's fair.
Sure, whoever's going to bring them back there and, resurrect them and all that.
Yeah. Do you think Shikamaru is wearing eyeliner, or do you think he wasn't sleeping like Gaara? Either from stress or Kage overload. Maybe that's why the papers in the background are there.
I think Shikamaru's wearing eyeliner. He's just going emo over this whole situation.
I love it. It's to get on Boruto's good side, make himself more relatable.
Yeah, that's actually how they've been bonding lately. It's been thinking about this.
Okay, for a slightly more important thing, and I very much so mean slightly, did you notice this is like a Clawgrime cube? Or like Thorn Soul Bulb cube, I should say?
I just walked away. Hold on, let me come back down and look.
So the cube in the God Tree dimension, I don't think it ever had this before, but now it just has the thorn white triangle thing sticking out of the top of it.
I'll double check that. I mean, the first part where you said, "Did you know it's a claw mark cube?" Yeah.
Well, yeah,
but
that's not what I meant.
Okay. Let me just double check then, like chapter 5 or something.
Sure. It doesn't on the sides, we know that, but the top. It might have like tomoes or something, but I don't think it ever had thorns.
Oh, no. Well, it has those things, but they were drawn, so I'll show you.
Okay.
They did look more like Tomoe, I'll admit here. In this panel, at least. I'm gonna check again another screenshot in a second. Give me 10 seconds to send this, but
Shout out,
all right, there's one.
Maybe Shibai wrote the books that Juro was reading. He has the Senrigan, so he could write about anything he saw happening or what will happen with the prescience. Well, Ite Segev, that's a theory. Oh god. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting.
Now I'm gonna send another image here where you can kind of see a little bit of death, but I mean, it's also zoomed out in these. So I did originally think they were more like Tomoe, but
especially considering we were comparing them to the Tomoe on Jura's stomach.
Yeah, but in which case, I guess maybe it's now. If it is claw mark studs, that's kind of weird, actually.
Right, yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Even in this panel, what chapter was this from?
13, when he's reviving Hidari.
Okay, yeah.
These are sticking out like studs.
These are sticking out, yeah. Can't believe we didn't notice it back then. That's interesting.
So I guess that's what's happening on Jura's back too. There, looking at the top right there, I think those are just studs.
Oh god.
So is the thing in the center of him just his thorn soul? Is that his thorn soul right there? Plain sight.
Well, I don't know about you. What I see here is Jura Uzumaki.
That could be why he's interested in Naruto.
Yeah. So that might just be it. For this chapter. I think there was a lot more stuff that I had to say, but it's been a month. Either everyone else has said it to where I don't remember what we have or haven't said, or I don't know. Does it matter anymore?
Yeah.
I feel like doing a Ryu analysis a month late based on our initial impressions isn't going to be quite as entertaining. Wow, yeah. I can't believe he said boss man. Yeah, we get it. We know. That was cool 30 days ago, not anymore.
I think I'm trying to decide whether I want to try to eat something again now, or if I want to go to bed for 3 hours and wake up and go back to bed for 3 hours. Depending on that, we could just do other topics for an hour at tops. Tops an hour. Tops. Or we could just call it good.
I was thinking calling it good, considering it is 4:30, but actually look at this. Mitsuki is calling him master, not commander. Do you think the Shinju picked up on this blatant contradiction? Oh, what if Mitsuki, the one most capable of achieving this mission, is actually the one who blew it?
He blew it with that.
He's like Kawaki. He was taking it too confidently that he was falling asleep during the mission briefing or something. Yeah, I got this.
It would be really funny if Sarda corrects him. It's Commander.
No, you idiot! They're right there.
I will admit, I suspect that Ikimoto forgot. Commander Konohamaru. Why did he say that?
I love the fact that he said that. It, just the idea that they're going in with this double agent personality. They're making up fake identities for themselves, and they just didn't stick to that immediately.
I'm Commander Konohamaru.
Like, as if making
Who
that fake
says that?
identity helps them accomplish their mission any better. This isn't a Konzo situation with the Rain Village.
Yeah. It would have been funny though if he changed his name like that. Like,
My
I'm
name is
Bono
Dono
Hamaru.
Hamaru.
I'm Beatski. I'm Barada.
I'm Floto. Baraya.
I'm Shimono Hamaru.
I guess Araya's fake name, ironically, would just be Bara. It's pretty cool. That's what it would be.
Baraya.
Bara
Or they just
B.
swap names. Mitsuki says he's Sarada. Sarada says she's Mitsuki.
For absolutely no reason at all.
That way, if Hidari shows up, he's just like Sarada Uchiha. Mitsuki's like, that's me. It's like, wait, what? Confuse him.
But anyways. So I thought this was funny. So do you think the Shinju know what a comb is?
A comb? Like a hair comb?
Because Konohamaru says, why don't we comb the area? And I'm curious if the Shinju understand what he means when he says that.
Ikimoto did not think about that. I can promise you that.
Like, is Matsuri just like pulling out a hairbrush and starts like combing the sand? Is like, is this what you mean?
This is the kind of humor they're missing out on.
I know.
At this point, just go all out with it.
I feel like you might as well, yeah. Even Konohamaru is just so oddly nonchalant talking to Matsuri. Like, you're Matsuri, right? What's the matter? Are you not feeling well? Like, you're trying to be like, I understand you're trying to befriend her, and this is technically a friendly thing. It's just kind of weird to be like, you're acting funny. Man, you're weird, huh? Like, this is unusual for you, isn't it? Like, trying to make her aware of this for some reason. Like, I understand he knows that she has a crush on him. But I feel like this isn't the route to go. Like I don't know, be like, hey, do you think I'm cute? Something like that. Hey, let's talk about how cute I am over there as we hunt down Boruto.
It would have been actually funnier if Konohamaru's first move was complimenting her for being pretty. He's just like, wow, you're really pretty. You know that?
And then the thing is, she's gonna like sit down from like her excitedness, and she's going, "Oh my god, she is pretty." Oh god, she's hot.
Like, Shikamaru told me she was pretty, but I didn't realize her butt was that big.
Yeah, but thankfully, the Konoha Shinobi are seriously nice peeps. And so, he doesn't have to slaughter them like any ninja he runs into, because they spoke first. And Sarada, gee, don't say stuff like that. So, I think this is also a double meaning, to where she's like, gee, don't say stuff like that. It's like almost like a flattering-ish compliment type of thing. I'm like, no, stop it. Oh, you're too nice. But I think she is like meaning it like almost feeling disrespected. Like, don't you dare talk about ninja like that in reality.
Or just like, don't say that. Let's be friends.
Like, I feel like she's saying it like, say that more, but she really means say that less.
Well, I don't think she wants him to mention the killing at all.
Well, there you go. Then we have Yodo and Araya just looking in the distance still. It feels like that's where they're headed, but I don't know. For some reason, Yodo and Araya are still like in their like scouting, crouched recon type of feel. Like, I wonder if Ryu's gonna see them looking at him, just like in a flak jacket or something, like camouflage. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I was like, shit, the target spotted us. What do we do?
Yeah, I don't know why they're like in addition still, to be honest. Like, are they? It doesn't seem like they're preparing some jutsu or anything.
I really hope Ryu walks up to them and is like, is Boruto down there?
Yeah.
Did you guys find him? Is he buried in the sand?
Is this the clue?
Okay. I'm just reading the chapter. If it does, it'll likely give us a painful edge, or it's not that much. I told you. Be heartless. Yeah, we already talked about all this. Look like you need a break. What is it? Somewhere in dog. So, do you think sitting somewhere was part of the plan, or is he going off script here?
I think separating was part of the plan, and sitting was just kind of like something he just thought of off the cuff.
Do you think sitting is part of the befriending strategy, or making her vulnerable so she's in an easier position to stab in the back strategy?
Possibly both.
Okay. That's what I was hoping you were going to answer with. And then for some reason, it's like, are you
Definitely
feeling
for the
better?
befriending, I think, just to get comfortable.
That's fair. Yeah, but then Konohamaru asking, well, are you feeling any better? And again, trying to like trickily befriend her, maybe like internally actually trying to befriend her, but he doesn't realize it yet. But like, kind of funny, you would ask the person you want to not feel well if they're feeling well, as if you want them to feel better.
He's got to put on the act. Except I think he's actually genuinely asking.
That's the problem. Like, I can't see Shikamaru asking Hidan if he's feeling any better unless it's sarcastically. There's no situation. So. And then it's even more weird.
To be fair, I can't see Hidan blushing over Shikamaru.
Okay, Hidan is another perfect example of the villain that is like the perfect antagonist, considering he is literally fulfilling his role as much as he can. He couldn't fulfill his role more.
Hidan was perfect. Like, in my opinion, Kakuzu is just where it fell short. And it's really just for me at least, it's really just the Naruto versus Kakuzu part. The rest of it's perfectly good with them.
That's fair. So here's something. So Matsuri says, this just isn't like me. And in response to that, Konohamaru says, you sure about that? So does Konohamaru think Matsuri's always like this? I mean, that's the only version of her he's ever known, but he's only known her for like 20 seconds. Like, it's so weird that Konohamaru seems more sure of Matsuri than Matsuri does of herself.
Yeah, it's like, why is he saying that? It's like he should be acting like he doesn't know, but just be like, oh, how so?
Yeah, if anything, just, yeah, exactly. Get more information from your enemy. Like, you sure about that? Not very, very helpful to you.
Makes it seem like you know better than you should.
Get this way, you know? Well, I don't know. Like, do you think Konohamaru genuinely believes it's not weird for her to get this way because she has a crush on him? Like, is this how Konohamaru anticipates women to act when they have a crush on somebody?
I mean, based off of what he knows about Ada, maybe.
I don't know, like, physical behavior-wise, this might be a little bit extreme over the top, but maybe this is what Konohamaru expects. Maybe this is what Ikimoto expects.
I think it's what Ikimoto thinks, because, like, he's got all the girls blushing over people. Like, Ada acted like this with Kawaki. Stardust and Ray are going crazy over Boruto and his smolder.
Yeah. So this was a funny contradiction. So Ada is instructed to talk about the sand, and then Ada's like, what about that geezer? And then Koji says, Mamushi should be at their base. No chance of him seeing you. No chance? But he should be at their base?
So which is it?
Well, to be fair, if he's just somewhere that isn't at the desert, then he can be somewhere that's not at the base and have no chance of Ada seeing him. So.
Yeah, but he didn't say there's no chance of him being on the mission, did he? I mean, he kind of did, in a sense, by saying, oh, it's box or for you or both, but like, still.
Plus, he said no chance of him seeing you, not no chance of you seeing him.
That's also actually a really interesting idea if they play with that. I don't think they will, but that'd be really interesting.
That would be cool if he actually gets mad. He's like, no, I didn't say you wouldn't see him. I said that you would see him.
Yeah, like he's sleeping in the desert or something. He's like, ugh. Realistically, it would just be Ada with the Senrigan would be like behind him looking at his back and hoping he doesn't turn around or something. But,
yeah.
That'd be a really cool.
It would be funny.
Scene. Yeah. And then we got Boruto wanting to go and Koji saying not to. And I thought that this just like reinforces the idea that I had all along that for some reason Mello and for some extremely strange reason you agreed with that, oh, Boruto's being too trusting of Koji. That's so weird. He was never trusting of Koji. He treated him like everyone else.
No, at first he seemed pretty trusting.
Okay, well then you agree now that he doesn't trust Koji based on this.
Well, I never said that he doesn't like not trust him currently. I put it out in my review about how Koji's not answering his questions and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not that he is 0% trust, and he probably like 80% trusts him, but like there's times where he doesn't.
I mean, I don't think he trusts him. Is the thing. Not gonna stick his neck out there for Koji at all. Not gonna do it for Shikamaru.
Like,
not
I think
gonna
he
do it for
trusts
Koji.
him. I think he trusts his information more than say Amado.
Like he'll do what Koji says. That doesn't mean he's gonna risk anything for Koji.
Well, at the very least, I never argued that he was going to risk anything for Koji.
Whatever. Well, Mello was fully on board on that train, and after watching this, he's like, oh, thank God they're doing this. Oh, I should have been doing this all along. Oh, I can't believe how much Boruto trusted him at first. Ah, this is the Boruto we need. Yeah, props to Ikimoto for this one. Round of applause, 10 of 10. Yes.
I don't think that they were doing anything bad before, because even as it is,
I agree.
I was saying that, and I still stand by it. Koji's face with the whole Boruto, like, I'm not sacrificing Kawaki thing. I feel like Koji's like, ah, man, I want to sacrifice that dude. Like, it's his mindset.
Yeah, they were
like,
making
and they're gonna be at odds.
They were making it clear Boruto doesn't trust Koji in the same way he doesn't trust Shikamaru or Kawaki or anybody else. Freaking Mitsuki.
What was my? Remember, I had a podcast topic about Boruto and Shikamaru there. Let me double check it.
So I thought this would be something.
Said invite me up 12 minutes ago.
Oops.
I don't know if he's still there.
He also messaged me. Well, there you go. I thought this would be a fun game to predict. So Boruto says, "What's the chance they fail, percentage-wise?" Koji says, ... not that high. So now let's ask us, for fun. We're probably never gonna get this answer unless they reveal it next chapter. But assuming we never get this answer, what do you think the percentage is that they fail?
Very high.
Well, Koji says not that high, but I'm looking for a specific percentage, like a numerical value. Just for fun. Just for a random shot in the dark guess out there. If you have an explanation for your answer, that'd be cool too, but
I say like 70%.
I was gonna say I don't want to say 100%, so I was gonna say 70 or 80.
okay. For fun, I'm gonna say it's 69%, and Koji doesn't want to say that because he's using Future Sight to see that Boruto's gonna make it immature. So there you go.
What do you mean?
But you're right, and him was too embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, definitely 70%.
Why definitely 70 as opposed to 75 or 80 or whatever?
Well, not definitely. I'll take that word back. Not definitely 70%.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards like 70-80% that they fell.
I feel like they just kind of have to for the sake of like the arc.
Yeah.
But why would he send them there if it's such a high percentage that they'll fail?
If it plays into Koji's plan to where it's better if they fail. Eventually.
That's true.
Well, failing doesn't necessarily mean the mission. They can succeed the mission and still die, which is not what Boruto wants.
That too. Which obviously Boruto would like not like.
Exactly. It's the thing that Boruto would care about more, even though he logistically shouldn't. Okay. So another thing. This didn't quite make sense to me. So like, just like with Himawari leaving Konoha, if you were to take part in this battle, Juro would make a move. And if that happens, you will die this time. I don't quite understand. That's implying if he goes at all and does anything at all, Juro will show up and he will kill Boruto. But like, if all Boruto does is teleport there, touch someone, and teleport them away from the danger of immediate death, is Juro gonna like somehow kill him from that? Like, is Juro even gonna know? How would Juro know? Unless the Shinju tell him, of which case if Boruto goes there and kills these two Shinju, how would Juro know? Unless there's some other connection between the Shinju. Which there doesn't seem to be.
That's what I said. I'm like, he's not gonna know, because even then, like, hypothetically, let's just say Boruto teleports there, grabs Sarada and Mitsuki, and leaves. But the Shinju can't find Boruto's home base anyway. They're trying to do that right now. So who cares if Juro is out for Boruto? Well, he doesn't know where he is.
The worry there is if somehow, if he does that and teleports back to his home base, they're somehow going to be able to track it, similar to what Boruto did with the Ten Tails dimension with Code when he teleported back.
Yeah, and wouldn't Koji see that in like somewhere in his future sight where Boruto did that exact thing and it didn't work out in the favor?
Oh, wow. I mean,
because he saw multiple timelines, not just one. So in those infinite timelines, he saw Boruto doing that exact same thing.
Exactly, yeah. Like, he should see a timeline where he just doesn't die, where it just all goes well because of it.
Apparently in this run, he only dies.
That's probably the one that he's going for. But there's probably no timeline where nobody dies. Like, it has to be a sacrifice.
That also means
but then he's not seeing every possible future in that case then, though, because like some possible futures don't exist.
That also means it's impossible for Boruto to kill Juro right now, no matter what. Which is kind of insane. Like, he literally physically is incapable of doing it.
Yeah. And that's crazy.
Why though?
The manifestation of the Ten Tails, you would assume that like Boruto would be like stronger than the Ten Tails.
Like, I have a strategy idea. Why doesn't Boruto just start charging up Uzuhiko now? Give frickin' Himawari or whoever the triangle. Have Himawari walk up to Jura, and then just have Koji say, "Alright, go now." Boruto teleports there, and free game, you're gonna get this reference. It's basically the instantaneous Kamehameha on Cell.
Yeah, but what if you're read the Dragon Ball manga?
Listen, yeah, I don't care if he read freaking Neptune's Poseidon himself, okay? He's not gonna be able to react to that.
He read the Dragon Ball Z manga. He's aware of that technique.
I mean, it's not gonna stop it from working.
You know what? Okay, they're not gonna do it, but I wish they would just have in any Jura book scene, just have him reading a Naruto manga like volume, or have it say the tale of Naruto Uzumaki or something. Like
that one will work the best.
Yeah, that would be fire. I mean, I don't see
like, why not, man.
They wouldn't do it. Yeah, because that was his first target, and he really didn't know why. So
it's just a cool reference, man. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I don't care what Jiraiya book or Naruto reference you do, just do one of them.
Yeah, like even if they don't like reference any of those books, just to see what books he's actually reading, because they're all just black and blank, so we don't know what knowledge he's like.
Yeah, like literally, I don't care if it's just the Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, just like, or Harry Potter, just throw out a book, Sasuke Retsuden, just throw out a book that exists, put it on the title.
Yeah, no, for real, exactly.
Maybe a good way for Ikimoto to plug all his old manga. Cosmos.
It had the title as spoilers. Those spoilers that came out. I heard there was no more spoilers.
I hope there's no more spoilers. We talked about it last month, if you remember.
Yeah.
Hey guys, look, I turned Koji into a Shinju.
I'm not looking. Can you send it in chat?
Sure. It's literally the most minimal thing I could have done, but whatever works. Yeah, I mean, free game, what do you think about the whole if Boruto does anything at all in this battle, then he's just gonna die because Jura's gonna make a move? Like, how does Jura find out? What does Jura do to kill Boruto no matter what? And, like, what can Boruto not do the most minimal thing? Like, hypothetically, if Boruto were to teleport there, not take part in the battle, and leave, does Jura still make a move and kill him?
I would assume so, because Jura said...
What if Boruto hypothetically showed up and killed Konohamaru? Like, would Jura still make a move?
Yeah, like Jura said that Boruto must die in one of the previous chapters, so I'm sure that he would make an attempt.
But like,
remember that one?
Yeah, what would he do? Would he just snipe him from afar? Because I feel like Boruto should be able to see him if it's in the Sand Village, like unless he's really far away. But at that point, like, could Jura even aim? He couldn't aim the first time.
I mean, he probably can kick his ass with taijutsu. So
Not if Boruto teleports away. Like, remember, he clutched freaking Himawari out of Jura's arms.
Jura just didn't care for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe Jura would be smart and put a claw mark on him, so no matter where he goes, he can always track.
See, that'd be good. I would like that. And then he would need Kawaki to shrink it, which would show that temporary alliance, which would be really cool.
You know what, then? Screw it, I gotta rewrite. Jura should have done that in chapter 12 when Boruto did that. He took Himawari away. Jura should have, like, put a claw mark on him.
I like it. Yeah.
And then Kawaki could shrink it, like when he shrinks the toad. Be like, oh, there's a claw mark. It shrinks it.
Bro, in fact, Jura should have done that instead of sniping Boruto. He puts the claw mark on Boruto. It's like, there, I've marked you. I can kill you anytime I want. I don't need to be here. I'm gonna go back for Hidari. And then
Exactly.
he goes back, then Kawaki shrinks and he's like, oh, I can't go back to Boruto. What happened? That's freaking cool.
Dude, that's literally actually so much better than what we got.
I know.
What do you guys think gonna happen next chapter though? For sure.
Well, definitely Konohamaru and Matsuri will talk.
That's boring.
Do you think the fight's gonna start next chapter? Free game? Because if they don't, how will they not have it start next chapter? I guess if they just show a bunch of different scenes, like the Kawaki scene or the extending the Jura scene, to where they just don't really progress the story at any which point that's possible.
I feel like they gotta start the betrayal, like the cliffhanger is like the betrayal failing or something. Like they can't drag it out too long.
We might get more Boruto scenes, but he's probably not going to show up yet. Do you think Kawaki's going to get his limiters off?
We did leave off with that cliffhanger. So
Right?
yeah, maybe they will like maybe they would transition from what's going on in the sand and they'll go back to that.
I kind of expect to start with that since they ended with that. What do you think, Kamui?
I'm trying to decide. They tend to start where they leave off a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times. So he might not get them removed at the beginning of the chapter, but like they start the conversation. Like maybe Amino be like, "What are you talking about?" Like playing dumb, and then Kawaki be like, "Stop playing dumb" or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they cut away, finish it later or something.
The problem is if he hypothetically does get his limiters off, let's just say next chapter, regardless of at any point during this arc, let's say it is next chapter. What does he do for the rest of this arc? He can't just
I think he gets
go
involved.
to Sand Village.
I think he does.
You think he
If
does?
not, then he has to be like sidetracked with Amino shenanigans, like doing Amino's plan or something.
That could work. Yeah, Amino gives them like a whole freaking like scavenger hunt to get rid of his limiters. First, you gotta get the water from the highest mountain in the Stone Village. Then you gotta go to the Cloud Village. Talk to the. I don't know. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know he an idiot. He'll probably do it too.
That's not what I had in mind, but I love that even more. What I meant was like the whole put a karma on the Delta clone thing. Like be like, all right, I have a deal for you. You do what I want, I'll do what you want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something to keep him preoccupied. Otherwise, he just does need to go on this mission. It doesn't make sense to have him just chill in the Leaf Village.
I agree, but what I think he would do, Jura's in the Leaf Village right now, and that's the person who Kawaki would probably want to fight the most right now. I think have his limiters off. That's the first thing he's going to want to try to do. And especially if they get Jura into a position such as talking to Kakashi, and that's the thing to ruin it. They're right on the edge of maybe even making Jura give up on his ways of trying to devour Naruto. And it's like Kawaki comes in and like destroys the library, making Jura freak out right before Jura's about to become an ally.
I should have clarified. I meant like getting involved with the Shinju in some way, not necessarily specifically the Sand mission, because that is more what I meant.
Okay, that's.
I did say that by chapter review at some point.
Yeah,
because I think Kawaki should get into an altercation with Jura in some capacity. That would be pretty cool, especially if this is like our debut to Kawaki with his karma horn and fighting and stuff, and we get to see. Basically, Kawaki ruin everything.
Yeah. Now, I will say, when Kawaki gets his limiters off, let's not even go there. If Kawaki gets his limiters off, I'll say when he does. When Kawaki gets his limiters off, it doesn't matter who he fights because the writer could just make him as strong as they want to make him. So it doesn't matter who he fights. It could be Sumire, it could be Shibai. I don't care the range of power you want to. It doesn't matter. Do you think? Whoever he fights next, or I should say after he gets his limiters off, do you think his first fight with his limiters off will be Kawaki with a W or an L? With Code, it was an L. So now we have to ask.
I knew you were gonna ask that. The problem is it depends on who he fights. If he fights Jura,
Well, again,
I
that
think
doesn't
he's gonna
matter
lose.
because they could just make him as strong or weak as they need him to be.
I do think it matters though, because if he
I think it
fights
matters too,
Jura,
yeah.
he's gonna lose. If he
I
fights
agree.
Damon, he's gonna lose. If he
Yeah.
fights anyone else, I think he might win.
Which
Like,
is God why I wanted to fight Damon. God, I wanted to fight Damon so badly. Especially the parallel code. That's unironically narratively good. Not
I
just
agree.
Damon.
It would be good if like Kawaki or Damon's pissing Kawaki off. Kawaki thinks he's hot shit and he got his limiters off, and then Damon proves
Yes.
everyone wrong again and just beats that.
Bro, I could just imagine Code laughing in the corner. In the next dimension over. That's what you get.
Yeah, that's actually how Code and Kawaki get their team up that everyone was theorizing. They're bonding over losing to Damon again.
What about you, Free Game? Do you think Kawaki's going to get a W or an L in his first fight after getting his limiters off?
He has to get a W, but I'm on the same boat as you guys. Who would it be against? I wonder if he'll try to fight Boruto again.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I think they're
So
going to say
weird though.
that now.
Boruto's like, I need your help, and they agree to team up. And he's like, oh yeah, get stronger. Here's how. And then Kawaki's just like, nah, screw you, bro.
I'll be right back. All right.
Also, real quick, I love your Koji.
Oh, thank you. I swear, the Shinju are the easiest people to make fan art of. Just add a couple white dots around the edges.
You could do it with every Kara member while they're wearing the cloak.
Oh, it's so good. This is like the perfect panel to do it with as well.
I know. It's
Not
just like the Hidari
angle.
panels.
Well, the reason I even thought about this is because this reminded me of the same angle they introduced Hidari at.
And that's what I was saying. Like,
and then with the dialogue, it kind of fits anyways. Might as well. Yeah. Let's see. What else is in the chapter? Jura's bookstore, and then the Kawaki thing, and then that's it. Oh! Okay. I had 2 more things to say about this chapter. The first is, do you think the Yamanaka clan is just gonna keep contacting Shikamaru anytime Jura comes and leaves, despite him saying every single time, like, yeah, leave him alone. like the same thing every time, just don't evacuate any civilians. Like, because you'd imagine he would have already told them. It's weird that he would like.
I feel like I feel like they have to let him. I feel like they have to contact him though, just so that he's aware.
But like, they're doing it like, oh my god, look at all these exclamation marks we're using! Intruder alert! Ah, it's Jura! It's like, why wouldn't they just be like,
probably
oh,
start to be a little bit more.
He's back again.
Yeah, I think they'll transition to that.
Okay.
They'll start doing that eventually.
That's funny. Okay. And then the last thing I had to say on this chapter, I guess, Kamui, we have to officially apologize to Mello. Mello, we concede you were entirely right, and you're the best YouTuber ever. We apologize for this severe and continuous lapse in our judgment. I can't believe me and Kamui would stoop so low to make this mistake. And you're the smartest, bestest person ever. Congratulations, you were right, Mello. These Shinju Divine Tree monsters are apparently, they're going in the direction of they're not actually evil and they're innocent still, and we shouldn't kill them yet. And you know, Kamui, nobody else knows because that stream was cut off that one time. But you know that I wholeheartedly disagreed with that immediately before this chapter came out.
It looks good.
But at the same time, we cannot stand for this. We cannot let Mello win. So we are not going to allow this to happen. And screw that. Shikamaru's wrong. Konohamaru's an idiot. Naruto would completely agree they need to die. So that's my final thoughts on the matter.
I mean, like, we don't know for sure what they're going to do moving forward anyway. So, like, I don't think you can really for sure say that they're truly innocent or not. Like, because they might become less innocent. They might become more innocent. Like, I don't know.
Well, I will say it's more so of an up to this point notion anyways. Because I still would say before this chapter, there was absolutely, I'm not going to say no indicator, but it was a huge reach to say that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
But it's very clearly...
Especially since Hidari wasn't acting too innocent.
Yeah.
Bro was mouthing off to everyone.
And the fact they killed those 8 ninja immediately, like, oh, but they're innocent guys, just a bear.
Yeah, they're not going to address that at all, bro. Shikamaru doesn't even care.
Literally. Anyways. We failed.
I think that would be cool. Yeah, we failed.